Gosh, this is amateur hour. Guys, it won't happen again. That's why you guys could hear me. Because this should be up now. I apologize, guys. This is unacceptable. You guys deserve so much better. Let me know if I'm on. There we go. Better. Pause. All right. As I was saying, I will never wear the gray hoodie again. I put up a one day I'm going to get through a show without production issues. But I put up a poll on the different hoodie colors, and nobody likes the light gray. That is a classic Adidas hoodie, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about the production issues. We are raring and ready to go. I was taking care of business until the last second. Not like a dog takes care of business, but production issues. So I was trying to get everything squared away. Now I realize why everybody was calling me saying they could hear, because I had the wrong mic on. But I apologize. Yeah, I moved everything around. In here today. And again, one day I'm going to get it the way I want it. But every day I have a little opportunity. I try to make some improvements to the operations in here. But the production issues are just going to be part of the problem. All right, here we go. I have a lot I want to talk about today, and I tried to figure out, how do I ram all this into just one small show, and I think the answer is I can't. I'm not sure that it can be done in one small show. So this is either going to be a very dense show, or I might have to boot some of the topics. But we'll get there one way or the other. Ladies and gentlemen, we will get through all of these topics at some point, even if they come in the next few days. I had a lot of people in the comments wondering where Candace was today. I don't know. My guess is either snowed in or iced in, or maybe had trouble getting people to or fro wherever they are. It is a very, very dangerous Middle Tennessee right now. We got several inches of snow and ice, mostly ice, it seems like. And the ice made the roads nearly impossible to pass. It depended on where you were, how well they were treated. And so it's very devastating out there. So it didn't surprise me when she wasn't able to go. I was hopeful we would have power. A lot of people in this area lost power. And I was very, very hopeful we would end up with power, so I would be able to continue to stay warm. Not just do the show. That's kind of a side benefit. I wanted my family to stay warm. I saw a guy, I went to Lowe's today. I saw a guy there getting a generator. And I was like, you out of power? He's like, dude, my family is an ice cube. He's like, I have put off trying to buy a generator. I finally had to break down. I finally had to get one. And of course, Lowe's was charging an arm and a leg for him. I just had to pick up 3 screws. I felt terrible. My bill was under $2. His bill was like $2,000. So, my thoughts and prayers with that guy. Anyway, hold on. Someone. Oh, okay. I'll get to it in a little bit. All right, guys. We have we got an interesting open. This is a fun one. The open today, if you hear it and go, oh, sports open, it's not a sports open. It has application outside of sports, and you will see the tie nearly immediately as we start talking. So don't get down on it just because it has a sports ball reference. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then we will bust into a topic we started to broach last night during the stretch period. I don't know if you were on with that. I want to kick that into overdrive a little bit, because the more I've thought about that woman, the more I just go insane. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. If we have time at the end, I want to dig into the timeline a little bit. I want to ask your opinions on what is missing from the timeline. I can think of several things we probably need to add. But this working timeline is going to get very good. Going to get very good and very tight. So thank you for joining us. Sorry about the false start there on the sound. Sorry about the 2 minutes of me yapping in the background trying to get ready. Not realizing the mic was open. When I was in radio, we had a rule. If you were in a studio, it was as if the mic was open. I don't care if it was like a Saturday afternoon and there were no shows on and you acted as if mics were open. In commercial breaks, you acted as if the mics were open. You've never said anything in the studio that you did not want to go out over the mic. If you have one of these around, it can be a very dangerous proposition. So I probably need to treat this room a lot the same way. Not say anything that I don't want to go out over the air. All right, here we go. Here is your January 26, 2026 opening statement. Let me get this moved around a little bit. Find it, bring it, pull it up. There we go. All right, guys. Dale Earnhardt is a household name. Even people who have never seen an auto race or don't know the difference between NASCAR and Formula One know the name Dale Earnhardt. He is, without a doubt, the most famous American stock car racer in history, and a name on almost anyone's top list of iconic racing names. Names like Mario Andretti, Michael Schumacher, Dale Earnhardt. These are just names everyone knows, racing fans or not. Dale Earnhardt started racing cars in the mid-1970s. He eventually started his own racing team, Dale Earnhardt Inc., known colloquially as DEI. I doubt he would have chosen that acronym if he would have known what that acronym eventually would come to mean, but I digress. Like everything Dale Earnhardt touched, DEI was wildly successful. In fact, DEI stands as one of the most iconic teams in NASCAR history. It achieved remarkable success during its heyday. Race wins, Daytona 500 victories, NASCAR championships. The team's success was not just raw statistics, it was the cultural impact on the sport. It helped propel NASCAR into mainstream popularity during a period of explosive growth. The team fielded multiple cars. It had star drivers. It all came crashing down, quite literally, at the Daytona 500 on February 18, 2001. Dale Earnhardt, who was not driving for his own team, was battling for the win with Dale Earnhardt Inc. driver Michael Waltrip and his son, another Dale Earnhardt Inc. driver, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dale Earnhardt Sr. crashed in the final turn. His son, DEI driver Dale Earnhardt Jr., finished second. DEI driver Michael Waltrip won the race. Dale Earnhardt Inc. drivers finishing 1 and 2 in the biggest NASCAR event of the year would have been a cause for overwhelming celebration, except for one problem. Dale Earnhardt Sr. died in that crash. The story of Dale Earnhardt Inc. is a rags to riches story that everyone should know, even if you're not a racing fan. The company started in a simple garage in North Carolina. February 1980, long time ago. By this time, Dale Earnhardt Sr. was already a rising star in NASCAR. He co-founded the organization with his third wife, Teresa Houston Earnhardt, whom he married in 1982. Initially, DEI wasn't focused on fielding race teams. It began as a small operation, producing racing parts and supporting his career at another team. NASCAR rules at the time prevented Dale Earnhardt from owning a competing team while simultaneously driving for a different team, so he placed the team in Teresa's name. The early years were bootstrapped. Dale was a self-made man. He came from a small mill town. He poured all of his earnings into the venture. He started with basic fabrication for cars and lower-tier feeder series, but by the 1980s, mid-1980s, DEI was fielding its first cars in these lower-tier series. Dale himself would occasionally drive them to test the setups. The turning point came in the 1990s when Dale's sons, particularly the aforementioned Dale Earnhardt Jr., showed promise. DEI, in fact, was built with family in mind. Dale envisioned it as a legacy for his children, including Dale Jr., Kerry, and Kelly. In 1996, DEI debuted in the Busch Series, the highest of the feeder series, with Dale Earnhardt Jr. behind the wheel. He found rapid success. He won championships in that series in 1998 and 1999. It validated the team's investment. Expansion was methodical. Dale Earnhardt Inc. moved to a new 100,000 square foot facility that included engine shops and research and development departments. By 2000, DEI entered the top NASCAR series full-time with 3 cars, including one driven by Dale's son, Dale Earnhardt Jr. So the team grew from a little garage hobby to a multi-million-dollar enterprise through Dale's vision and family involvement. Ultimately, DEI's foundation was Dale's dream of a family-run empire. He wanted to blend racing with business savvy. And financially and operationally, it was a model of success. The team's headquarters in Mooresville, North Carolina, was a state-of-the-art facility that set new standards for NASCAR shops. It had advanced wind tunnels, fabrication areas, even a museum showcasing the Earnhardt legacy. Sponsorships from major brands like Budweiser and GM Goodwrench fueled the operation, generating millions in revenue and allowing DEI to expand into merchandising, real estate, even aviation. Dale Sr.'s influence was key. He was a 7-time champion. He brought credibility and fan loyalty. This translated into sold-out merchandise and heightened TV ratings. By the early 2000s, DEI was a full-fledged empire. It was employing hundreds and contributed to NASCAR's surge in popularity. The team's success extended to the lower series, where it developed talent and secured titles, making it a breeding ground for future stars. And that's when Dale Earnhardt Sr. died. It was at the pinnacle. He was the head of the empire. The crash occurred, ironically enough, as Earnhardt used his race car to block for his two DEI drivers in the race, Michael Waltrip and Dale Earnhardt Jr. It worked. They went on to finish first and second, but the contact turned him in the wall head first at over 150 miles an hour. Earnhardt suffered a fatal skull fracture along with broken ribs, a broken ankle, a broken sternum, and cuts all over his body. He died instantly. The tragedy left Dale Earnhardt Inc. without a founder. It thrust Teresa, his wife, into full control. His third wife, Teresa Earnhardt, inherited 100% of the company. She appointed herself CEO amid both grief and incredibly high expectations. And initially, for the first year or so, it looked like the team was thriving. Money kept pouring in. Fans of other teams sentimentally supported DEI as a fan favorite, even if they traditionally had rooted for other teams and other drivers. But cracks soon emerged. Critics would argue that Teresa's management, marked by absenteeism, family conflicts, poor decisions, led to the team's demise. The pivotal issue was a feud with Dale Earnhardt Jr., his son from a previous marriage. He was the team's star driver and the heir apparent to the DEI empire. After several years of clashing with his stepmother, Dale Earnhardt Jr. left the team. He took his sponsors like Budweiser with him, and it crippled DEI financially. Under Teresa's leadership, the team floundered. Teresa's perceived greed often is cited as the primary cause that destroyed Dale Earnhardt Inc. Fans blamed her for prioritizing profits over racing. She eventually tried to merge with another team, but after a few years, they dropped her and the Earnhardt name completely after a few years. And then DEI had gone from the gold standard to the ash heap of racing history. It turns out it takes more than being married to the right person at the right time to run a business empire. I've always been amused by the notion that someone should succeed their deceased spouse as the head of this or that venture. It's as if people assume businesses just run themselves. This nonsensical notion transcends business. Do you remember when Lurleen Wallace succeeded her husband, George Wallace, as the governor of Alabama? George Wallace's terms were limited. And recall the support for Hillary Clinton's presidential runs. Her great accomplishment was being married to Bill. Michelle Obama, to her credit, seems to recognize that trap, despite persistent calls for her to run for the office once occupied by her husband, President Barack Obama. I racked my brain today trying to come up with a single example of a successful transition to the surviving spouse of a successful business built by a spouse who unexpectedly died. I couldn't think of one. That doesn't mean one doesn't exist. It just means I couldn't think of one. It happens from time to time in domestic politics. The surviving spouse will take over a lower office from a deceased spouse, but I can't recall it being successful at the highest levels of business or politics. And that leaves us with Erika Kirk taking over for Charlie Kirk. On the show last night, someone mentioned Erika Kirk was in New York for the New York Times DealBook Summit on December 3rd. So I went and watched the recording of that performance. I think there's a reason that performance wasn't highly publicized. I want to play 3 short clips tonight from that performance. I want to look at a few things she said in context by looking at the TPUSA 990 filings and a clip of Charlie Kirk from before he met Erika Kirk. The direction TPUSA is heading in right now is clearly not where Charlie Kirk was taking it. And I think it's important to keep going back to those founding days and grounding ourselves in Charlie's vision of what he wanted TPUSA to be before he met Erika Kirk. The farther TPUSA has drifted from that original vision, the more danger I think he was in. I also want to look at something I briefly mentioned last night. It bothered me all night. and it's bothered me for most of today. And I want to address it in a little fuller context. It's the absolute loon bat known as Laurie Cardoza Moore. She lives down the road from me here in Middle Tennessee. She is either on or was on the Tennessee Textbook Commission. I can't get a final answer if she's still on that textbook commission, but I'm convinced, this is just my opinion, I'm convinced she's unfit for anything, particularly anything remotely resembling public office. She is, in my opinion, a horrific example of someone who should have any credibility cast on her by state government, by the state of Tennessee. And I want to look a little closer at her operation. And finally, if we have time, I want to take another stroll through the timeline we're putting together. The more we add to that timeline, the more obvious it is to me that Tyler Robinson did not plan and execute the operation that neutralized Charlie Kirk. So I kind of want to set the show up that way. We're going to dig into it that way. The first thing I want to do, though, is notice, because we are on, and I believe this is accurate. I saw this on X today. I believe this is accurate. I think we are on day 32, ladies and gentlemen, of Erika Kirk not providing an alibi for where she was when she was allegedly seen at Fort Huachuca. It's been 32 days since Erika Kirk's failed attempt at an alibi for the Fort Huachuca allegation. All she had to do was send a screen capture to Candace Owens. What's taking her so long? That's my question. What is taking so long? Everything seemed to be on track, and then she overheard there might be pictures of her on Fort Huachuca, and all of a sudden, that story went away. The alibi went away. The attempt to provide an alibi went away. The cooperation in providing an alibi went away. That was more than a month ago. And I don't want to lose sight of this. If I have to open every show with day 32, day 33, I will. But at some point, I'm expecting her to provide an alibi, because this was the attempted alibi that she provided with her finger, or somebody's finger, covering up two look like teenagers. Supposed to be her, I think, 3 and 1 year old. So that's where we are as we open the show. Now, I want to set up this clip from Erika Kirk by reminding us of where we were yesterday. We took a look at this letter yesterday. I've thought about this letter a little more. This is the letter from the Department of Treasury, the IRS division, to Erika Kirk, to Mrs. Charles Kirk, care of Turning Point USA, Inc., dated December 4 of late last year, about a month ago, give or take. Month and a half, 2 months. And if you'll notice, signed here by Scott Bessent, acting commissioner of the IRS. He's also the Treasury Secretary. And I don't have any problem with Scott Bessent signing this letter. I want to be clear about that. If somebody put a letter together for him and said, hey, Mr. Commissioner, everything in here is accurate, can you please sign it? Why wouldn't he? But I want to just capture this and set it aside. I want to remind you of the nature of this, and then I want to go back and play a few clips from her December 3rd speech, the day this letter was delivered, because you recall right here, it says, this is in response to your letter of December 3, 2025. So what was she doing on December 3, 2025? Who else was around her? We're going to talk about that in a minute, such that the response letter came back to her the next day. So let's get into who was around her first. I'll show you this. Because there were 2 people at this appearance on December 3rd. You'll recognize that guy right there. Do you know who that is? That's Scott Bessent, the Trade Secretary, Tariffs, Trade, and Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent. Or I guess that's the topic. The Tariffs, Trade, and Treasury is the topic of the conversation. U.S. Secretary of the Treasury and acting IRS Commissioner,
Scott Bessent.
Scott.
79th Treasury Secretary of the United States is here, Scott Bessent.
That's all I want to play from it. I don't want to play any other clips. It's the most boring conversation ever. Yes, sacrificing for you, ladies and gentlemen. I watched all 40 minutes of it. It was horrible. Not because he's horrible, just because it was boring. I can't imagine wanting to watch that. I can't imagine anybody putting that on the internet and saying, yeah, everybody should watch this. It's great. No, it's terrible. Why? Because who wants to watch 40 minutes of tariff conversation and trade deals? If that's your thing, it's on the internet. Go look for it. He did a fine job. It's like dull as dishwater. So that I just wanted to point out, though, he was there at the exact same day that Erika Kirk was there. I have here her appearance, and we are going to take a look at a few clips from her appearance. Actually, I need to get my run of show out of the way so I can find the clip length here. There we go. I want you to see the intro they had her walk out to. It was pretty wild. This is pretty nuts, actually. If you not that one. Okay. I don't know why I can't get that to go back. There. Here is the intro they had her walk out to. All right, I can't. I got to kill the music because it's probably copyrighted and whatever. This looked like it was going to be like an unbelievably hard-hitting interview, and there were some decent questions in there, but it was just a weird intro, I think. And here's what she walked out to. She's wearing a cape. I don't know why she's wearing a cape. I couldn't pull off the cape look. I've thought about it. I've even thought, I know there are people who wear capes. Obviously, she's got one on. Like Superman wore a cape. Batman wore a cape. Counts in the older days, they also wore capes. I've never worn a cape. I don't own a cape. But these are interesting times, ladies and gentlemen. So she wears the cape. She goes with the cape look, and that's okay. It was not an Elvis suit, so it's an upgrade from what she would be wearing a few weeks later. Now, I will put this in context. The AmFest appearance was on December, I want to say 15th or 16th, somewhere in there. The AmFest appearance, that was the gold blazer, the gold sequin blazer. That was later. That was where they brought out the rap star. I can't think of her name right now. This shows you my age. The only female rap star I can think of right now is a Missy Elliott. I'm old. I can't help it. Oh gosh, what was that woman's name? Anyway, not Cardi B. Who is the? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Nikki something. Someone said Nikki, and I do think that's right. All right, let me fast forward to the sections I want to play here. And I want to set it up this way when I get there. There is there's a question that's been circulating. Nicki Minaj, that's it. There's a question that's been circulating that I've not heard her directly address. Congrats to Aaron Sorkin for asking the question. And I thought it was an excellent question. He basically, and I'll let you listen to it here, but he basically says, hey, you have gone around telling everybody that that they should have children, start a family, if they need to put off their career in order to do it, that's fine. How do you justify that contradiction between that position and what you've done here, taking over TPUSA? I think it's a legitimate question. And I'm glad he asked it because no one else seems to have wanted to ask the question. And I think it's important. I don't want to watch these clips any more than anybody else. I see you guys in the chat saying that. I don't want to watch Erika Kirk clips any more than anybody else. But here's why I think it's important. We are trying to diagnose two things. One, who neutralized Charlie Kirk? Who was in on it? Who knew about it? We might be able to get some insight into statements made by TPUSA insiders, including their new CEO, Erika Kirk, by things that were said before and after the event. So that's one. Number two is we have to diagnose where TPUSA is going. And question two We'll get into exactly why we have to diagnose. It's basically being assumed it's the new Republican Party. That's basically the setup of the second clip I'm going to play. Yeah, I'm going to collect his $10,000. Don't worry about that. It's basically the second clip I'm going to play. It's the setup is TPUSA is the new Republican Party. What is your plans for it? So let me get the all things in due time. Let me get there. It's important we go through and listen to this, but this is a question that I have not heard her yet answer.
Really loved that. He loved it.
I got a question for you on that topic, which is I work with a number of fabulous female reporters, and we were talking about this interview coming up.
Okay.
And they said, they wanted me to ask you this, actually, because you've urged, as he has, women not to delay building families.
I beg your pardon?
You have urged women not to delay
Yes.
having families.
Right.
And you've talked about serving your husband.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, he served me also. He would ask, how can I serve you? We would ask it to each other.
And a number of them said, ask her, please ask her how you think about your career. And now that you're going to be taking over Turning Point and balancing family and what your view is of that.
No, it's
All right. It was a good question. It was asked very poorly. No offense to Aaron Sorkin. Maybe he's awestruck by being in the room with Erika Kirk. I don't know. I mean, just spit it out. Hey, you tell people to prioritize family over career. You just took on a monster job. A job that, by the way, resulted in the death of your husband. Like there are a million ways to ask this question. I don't know why the hesitancy. Why so difficult? I understand that he's a lunatic. He's a far lefty, and he's probably struggling with asking a woman, why are you not staying consistent to the values you've espoused? You've said family is more important than work. You've encouraged other women to eschew work in favor of family. Are you a hypocrite? I mean, that's the question he's asking. Are you a hypocrite? I mean, he wouldn't even have had to say anything else. He could have said, good evening, Ms. Kirk. Are you a hypocrite? That's all he had to say. I'm not saying she is or isn't. Let's let her answer.
It's a great question. It's actually a very thoughtful question.
Yeah, we know it's a great question. I mean, answer the question. Don't compliment the questioner. That just means you don't like the question.
I grew up with a mother who is an entrepreneur. It was her and I. My parents got divorced when I was very young, when I was 5. And I saw that as a blueprint. So that does not scare me, being a single mom, if you will, now, and running a company. There really is no such thing as balance. There's always going to be a give and take. But what this grieving process has taught me is that there is really no blueprint of what I'm going through. It's really a one-of-one type of situation. And it's interesting because when you view how pain can be morphed into a form of purpose that you see will outlive you, again, it puts into perspective that this isn't about me. This isn't about my life. This is about the legacy my husband left behind, but it's also about how we're fighting the good fight for our country. And when it comes to career, I will be fully transparent. I was fully bought into the boss babe. I mean, I lived in Manhattan. Charlie essentially plucked me out of the New York City orbit and was like, no, I have a healthier way of viewing things. And
hey, real quickly, does anyone know what she did in New York City? I mean, quick show of hands. Does anyone can answer that question? What did she do to produce an income in New York City? Because I'm struggling on that. I heard she was a real estate agent. I've not heard of any long list of real estate deals she was involved in. I'm having trouble identifying what this boss babe was doing in New York City. Who was she boss babing? Who was she boss babing? Okay, couple things. I'm going to finish the clip. It's got another minute or so on this clip, but I want to pause for a second because she's still not answered the question. The question was, are you a hypocrite? How do you justify your previous position where you told women to not go into the workforce and instead stay home and raise family, which, by the way, I agree with. I think that's a great thing. If you can afford it, I think it's ideal. No, I'm not knocking women who feel like they have to work. That's not my point. My point is it's a luxury to raise your own kids in your own home. It's absolutely amazing. And if you can afford it, it's great to take advantage of. So I agreed with Erika Kirk prior to Charlie Kirk passing away. I agreed with the both of them. I'm a little weirded out that she can't answer it. I'm a little weirded out that she can't say, hey, I changed my mind, or hey, I was wrong, because that's essentially what you have. That's the position you have to come to. If you said women should stay home and raise their kids if they're financially able to, and she certainly is. She's worth 8 figures plus, is my guess. But if that was your position on September 9th of last year, September 9th of 2025, the day before Charlie Kirk passed away, and it's no longer your position, you owe us an explanation why. You're running a public charity that has tremendous influence over Republican primary politics and general elections. You owe us an explanation why you've changed your mind. You also owe that explanation not just to us who are paying taxes while your company doesn't. We pay a lot of taxes out here in middle America. Your company's not paying taxes. You guys have accumulated tens or maybe even $100 million or more in assets, and you paid no taxes on those. Every dollar I accumulate, I have to pay taxes on. Even the dollars I spend, I have to pay taxes on. But you owe the women an explanation who took your advice. Like if there was a woman that heard you speak or Charlie speak on a podcast or an interview or at a live appearance, and they said, and you guys said, hey, if at all possible, if Erika Kirk, while Charlie was alive, said, hey, if at all possible, you should eschew going into the workplace. Don't worry about being a boss babe. Go get a husband, go have some kids, raise your family at home. You should look those women in the eye and explain to them, were you wrong? Have you changed your mind? Or are you now an elitist who's just better than all of us? I'll give you an example. One time I was talking to somebody, this was on Facebook. I wasn't really talking to him. It was in the comment section. And somebody was talking about putting Q-tips in your ear. And they were saying, don't ever put a Q-tip in your ear. I'm an ENT, and if you put a Q-tip in your ear, you'll be deaf, and you'll poke your eardrum out, and you'll do all kinds of damage. And I just pointed out that I get my ears examined because I have my hearing loss, and they stick a scope in there, and they look in there, and you could see it on the screen. You know, they show it on TV, and my ears are always pristine. And I say, I do my ears with Q-tips. And you know what she said? Well, I do my ears with Q-tips too, but I tell people not to. That's what I feel like with Erika Kirk here. That she feels like she's some sort of expert who's able to thread the needle, who's able to walk that balance beam, who's able to walk that very fine line between being a good mom and being a good boss babe. But she doesn't think anyone else can do it. I'm better than you. I will tell you you can't do it, but I'm going to do it. And that bothers me when people take that approach. It bothers me. It would be like me telling someone, don't quit your job and go into full-time podcasting. Well, I just did it a week and a half ago. That would be so hypocritical of me to say that. If you think you've got an audience and you're doing a good job and you have the time and the commitment to put into it on a daily basis, and you want to quit your job and give it a run, go for it. I just can't stand it when people say, do as I say, not as I do. It bothers me. It really bothers me. Let me let her finish her comment here, because she never answers the question. We've been 2.5 minutes into it. We got another minute to go, and she still won't answer it, but I'm going to play it just in good faith.
And looking at life and things like that. And he was right. He was right. And I remember thinking, if I would have stayed on that path I was on, I would have lost out on some of the most beautiful moments of my life. Children, having a husband, being able to create and build something so incredible. And again, yes, balance is an illusion. I bring my children to the office. I have them with me constantly. We have a phenomenal team. It doesn't just fall on my shoulders. Charlie was very good about creating and intentionally building a machine where it turns from founder-led to vision-led. And he shared everything with me. I knew his goals. I knew what his vision was for things. So this is not out of my orbit. This is not uncomfortable for me. And it's not, because I'm picking up a mantle that I understand and that I know that Charlie has entrusted to me, the team has entrusted to me, the Lord has entrusted to me, and I take that very seriously.
So a couple of things. One is, does anyone believe her kids are always with her? I don't. I've seen no evidence of it. I've heard no tell of it. I've never heard one person say, oh, that Erika Kirk, you can't go anywhere with her. She's got her kids with her all the time. So that's one thing. I don't buy that. I don't believe that. Second thing is, do you want your kids with you all the time? Do you not remember this job cost your husband his life? He died because he did this job? Is that the environment you want your kids in? Politics is a blood sport. Politics is gross. Politics is disgusting. You guys have turned TPUSA, and we'll go back and watch Charlie's statement from 10 years or so ago. We'll watch and see, is that what Charlie had in mind prior to meeting Erika Kirk, Erika France-Vey? But the third thing is, she keeps turning it's like, she'd be a good campaigner, because a good campaigner is going to get their talking points out no matter what the question was. The question was, are you a hypocrite? You told women to forego going into the workforce if possible and stay home and raise their kids. And now you're in the workforce with a 1 and 3-year-old or a 2 and 4-year-old, however old they are. Is that hypocritical? That was essentially the question. I mean, the question was not, hey, did Charlie share everything with you? Did he make sure you knew the vision he had for where the company would go? That was not the question, young lady. That was not the question. I know you're wearing a cape. I probably shouldn't be talking about you in your cape. But that wasn't the question. The question was very simple. Are you a hypocrite? She never answered it. She never one time owned up to it and said, yes, I used to say that, but here's why I was wrong, or here's why I changed my mind. She just instead moved to, I'm just doing this anyway. I don't care what I used to tell women, and I'm not going to look them in the eye and apologize. The mods are doing a fantastic job. I'm watching the chat go by, and it was moving pretty quick, and it looks like someone slowed it down a little bit. So thank you. I like everybody to be able to be heard, and I appreciate that. All right, here's the second one. The question here is, you're now running TPUSA. The TPUSA is essentially now the new Republican Party, What don't you like about the GOP? What do you like and what don't you like? This is great. This is great. And I got to do a side quest here in the middle of her answer.
A very deeper issue.
We had Gavin Newsom out here just moments ago. He had done a podcast, as you know, with Charlie. And we've been talking to him about the future of the Democratic Party. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious, now that you're running Turning Point mm-hmm. and thinking about the future of the Republican Party, mm-hmm. I want to know what it is that you like about the party today, but also what you don't like about the party today.
Let me just pause. I know that suit probably cost more than my house, but I wouldn't wear that. That's just me. I'm not sure. I think that's going to be one of those suits we look back on 30 years in pictures like, man, people used to wear that in public. People used to wear that in public. Like the suits where people got married in the 70s with the frills up them and they were light powder blue or whatever. I think one day we'll look back at that suit and be like, man, I can't imagine. Walked out on stage with a straight face. But that's not the point. That's not the point. All right. So the question was, what do you like? What do you don't like about the Republican Party? Now that you're essentially the de facto head that nobody voted for.
That's a good question.
Again, don't compliment the question. Of course it's a good question. The man is a professional interviewer. He interviews CEOs and high-powered individuals every single morning on CNBC. You don't have to tell him it's a good question. That doesn't buy you time. It makes you look like you don't know what you're talking about. So does that look, by the way.
So I have to brag on our Turning Point Action team for a second. Tyler Boyer does a fantastic job running it. If any of you ever are in Arizona, we'd love to have you and host you at headquarters. We have a awesome building. We have 6 buildings, but one of them is Turning Point Action. And it almost looks like a war room of how it's set up with different polling numbers and who's running what race. And it's really awesome to see.
Sounds like a pretty partisan outfit, huh? I'm going to show you some data in a second. It sounds like a political operation being run out of a nonprofit. You know, it's like a war room. We got polling and who's winning and who. We'll get back to that. I just want to hold that in your mind.
What I love about our party is that we have a common thread of wanting to seek truth. What I find interesting about our party is that right now, there is a lot of shuffling and mixing up. And I feel like when things are shuffling and mixing up, they're falling into place in a different way.
What do you mean by shuffling and mixing up?
I mean, like infighting.
Yes. Who are you talking about?
Well, I mean, you can just pick out whatever name, but when there's infighting just in general, I'm not talking about extensively just politicians. I'm talking about just in general, whether that's influencers, whether that's other voices within the right. There's a lot of uprising, but there's also something, and again, this goes back to my faith, and I just am going to preface this from the standpoint of, I truly believe that the Lord uses everything. And so for me, what I see that as opportunity for really getting back to the basics of what our party stands for and really be able to have this cohesive understanding of this is how we can be better prepared for 26, 28.
Okay, an uprising. Did anybody catch that word? She's calling what's happening on the Republican Party an uprising. Now, if you look at the dictionary definition of uprising, an act or instance of rising up, usually a localized act of popular violence in defiance of usually of the established government. In other words, I got to make her small for this. I promise I'm going to go back to her. In other words, those pesky commoners, Candace, Tucker, those pesky commoners, they're causing problems in the Republican Party. It's an uprising. It's infighting. It's shuffling and remixing. It's people who can't afford $40,000 worth of jewelry on their arms in an interview when they're wearing a cape. That's who she's talking about. She's talking about you and me. She's talking about all of us. It's an uprising. Like, that's what you say when the proletariat goes against the government. An uprising. That's how they think of us, ladies and gentlemen. They're better than us. We need to shut up, go back to our little hamlets, live in our little holes in the ground, come out when our feudal lords permit it. Oh, yes. May I have another? Oh, no, I may not have another. Okay, well, I'll go back to my little hole in the ground. Do you have enough jewelry on your hands, madam? Oh, okay, good, yeah. If not, you can have mine. I don't want to be accused of uprising. Oh, you would never wear my jewelry. Okay, well, may I have it back? Oh, you're not giving it back. You're going to melt it into something you might. Okay, that's fine. I mean, the truth comes out sometimes. The truth sometimes just seeps out of their mouths. This is how they think about us. This woman is now, according to this question, the de facto head of the Republican Party. And that's how she thinks about us. An uprising because we have opinions that don't agree with hers. Marie Antoinette, continue.
I think it's good to have in-home arguments. It irons some things out. I think it's important.
But is that in the influencer crowd, you think, or the political crowd? I mean, is this the Nick Fuentes Tucker Carlson debate
No,
we're
it's
talking about?
I'm talking about everything.
Okay.
I'm talking about there is ever since Charlie was murdered, there has been conversation across the whole right side of who believes this, what believes that, where are we standing on half of, where is the youth going this direction? It's a conversation that's being had that is, again, uncomfortable and riling things up. But I think it's healthy because once you have those conversations, then you come to a full point, and maybe it takes a little while, but usually you come to a point of understanding of this is what we believe in.
Eventually, you guys will be, the uprising will be abolished. Eventually, it'll be squashed. You understand that's what she means, right? Just in case you were wondering where she's coming from, not only is she wearing thousands of dollars worth of jewelry in a cape, I mean, the gall to go on stage in a cape is one thing. I went back and looked at her plane records. She flew the Gulfstream 5 to this event. At a cost, round trip, conservatively estimated, $50,000 to $75,000 of tax-free money, probably. I would guess TPUSA paid for this. Most of the people in this audience don't make $75,000 a year. They work 2,000 hours a year and don't make $75,000. That was her flight. I want you to keep this in perspective. That was her flight. Those planes, the Gulfstream 5, can cost upwards of $12,000 an hour. That's a 3 or 4 hour flight from Scottsdale to White Plains, New York. That is well more than the average income of an American citizen. That's what they fly around on to go to this meeting, to sit down for a 40-minute speech, a 40-minute interview. Uprising. But eventually we'll settle on what we actually believe. We'll tell you guys what you're allowed to say and not say. And then you guys will go back into your holes where you make less in a year than it cost me to fly to this thing. Now, maybe she gets a good deal and it was $40,000. When's the last time you spent $40,000? Did you benefit for more than one day from that $40,000? I mean, you might have bought a new car. Maybe you made a giant improvement to your house to fit your family. Not a lot of people just drop 40 gur without thinking about it. They probably pray about it for days, weeks, maybe months. Let's say the average person's house payment is $2,000 a month. That's 2 years of house payments. Minimum, maybe 3. To fly back and forth to this DealBook summit on a Gulfstream 5. So that you can be told you're a commoner who's uprising. And we're supposed to go, yeah, I love her. She looks so glamorous. Teresa Earnhardt destroying her husband's legacy in real time. I'm watching it. I'm watching it in real time. When you start putting pen to paper, ladies and gentlemen, you start thinking about these things a little differently. I want to pull up real quickly a couple of things because she was talking about Tyler Boyer's tireless work at TPUSA Action that has a whole building there. So I got a couple years worth of 990s just as an example, just to see what's going on in there. How much are they spending here? This is the fiscal year ending June 2023. The most recent we have. Oh, no, we have one more after this. But this is, they took in about $10 million that year. Not from the peasants. This wasn't peasant money. This didn't come from people banging a clock, making $21 an hour. No. This is not their money. This is not who pays for this stuff. But I want to slide down to the total expenditures here because of this. Well, I'm not even going to bang on their salaries right now. I just want to point out that, where are we going here? There it is. There it is. Political activity expenditures, $1.8 million. They took in 10, they spent 1.8 on political activities. Did it sound to you like that building that he's working in was doing anything other than political activities? I mean, that's as she described it, that's all they did. Oh, they got a whole war room. All these political races they're monitoring and working on. Who's winning, who's losing, all the stuff they got to get out. $1.8 million out of 10? Seems a little off to me. So I go to the next year. What does that one look like? Maybe this one has a little better clarity. So let's pull this one up. Maybe we'll get some additional clarity on this one. Maybe all the spending was the next year. Who knows? This is the fiscal year ending June 2024. This is the most recent one we have. They took in $27 million. Not from the peasants, not from those of us uprising and infighting, needing to settle down or whatever she said. No. That's not who's giving Turning Point Action $27 million. This is the political arm. So how much of that $27 million in their war room, in their own building, did they spend on these political activities? It might shock you to learn. $637,000. It's right there. $637,500 political campaign activity expenditures out of $27 million. In the midst of the 2024 Republican primaries all over the country, $637,500 out of $27 million that they took in. If you need the reminder, there it is, $27 million. I look at this and I say, I don't know that something's wrong because I'm not smart enough and I'm not an accountant and all that. But I think somebody should take a look at this because I just heard her on a stage describing Tyler Boyer's job at Turning Point Action and how they have a whole building dedicated to these campaigns. And $27 million rolled in support of something. And only 600 and something thousand gets recorded as political activity? What's he doing in this building? Where's the money going? I don't know. I'm not saying it's going anywhere here. I'm not saying it's malevolent. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's being stolen or misused. I'm just curious where it is. What did you do with it? And did you really only spend $637,500 on political campaigns? On political expenditures? That seems light to me. In light of how she just described, do I need to go back and let you hear it again now that you've seen it was only $637,000 out of $27 million? I think Wolves in Finance said that was like 3%. I'm trusting him on that math. Trusting him on that math. Let me go back and listen to how she described what Tyler Boyer was doing real quickly.
We had Gavin Newsom out here just moments ago. He had done a podcast, as you know, with Charlie. And we've been talking to him about the future of the Democratic Party. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious, now that you're running Turning Point, mm-hmm. and thinking about the future of the Republican Party, mm-hmm. I want to know what it is that you like about the party today, but also what you don't like about the party today.
Oh, that's a good question. So I have to brag on our Turning Point Action team for a second. Tyler Boyer does a fantastic job running it. If any of you ever are in Arizona, we'd love to have you and host you at headquarters. We have a awesome building. We have 6 buildings, but one of them is Turning Point Action. And it almost looks like a war room of how it's set up with different polling numbers and who's running what race. And it's really awesome to see.
I mean, so awesome that we don't even have to.
What?
Oh, sorry. Let me get there stopped. So awesome that they only spend $637,000 on $27 million on political campaigns. I mean, that is like really efficient. If that's true, I need to get this guy a Nobel Prize in economics or accounting or something. I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works. All right, one more clip. It's a minute 9 seconds. I almost said less than a minute. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a minute 9. A minute 9. One more clip. This one talks about J.D. Vance. We know she has since endorsed J.D. Vance. What was her take on J.D. Vance at this time? And my question is, what changed? What changed? Because we know at AmFest on December 15, 16, 17, somewhere in there. So like 2 weeks after this, she would give J.D. Vance a hearty endorsement. How did she feel about him on this day?
I think there's a tendency, especially when you live in a city like Manhattan.
Sorry, I stopped at the wrong minute here. I wondered why she was staring at the sky. That's not how it was supposed to be queued up. Here we go. Oh, man, what a freeze frame that is. Oh, gosh. She looks like Medusa. That's awful. I'm sorry, Eric. I would never do that to you on purpose. It won't happen again.
J.D. Vance.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the person you plan to ultimately support for 2028?
He's a dear friend. My husband and him were very good friends. I think you remember when he supported him for Senate, and they had a great time doing that race together, and he supported JD for that. I do have to say, yes, I mean, we adore JD, and my husband was very vocal about endorsing him, but I do have to preface this from the standpoint of, we have a tendency as humans to look past. We have very short attention spans and very short memories. I would ask that we enjoy the fact that, and maybe you don't, but I will enjoy the fact that my husband worked so hard for this past election. And I think it would behoove us to appreciate that hard work and enjoy the fact that we do have a president in office that we voted for.
Yeah, and 2 weeks later, that all goes out the window, and all of a sudden she's endorsing J.D. Vance. So let's just be clear. It's not like that's not a permanent position. It's not like how she treats the plebes with their little uprisings. All right, move along. We've made a decision, ladies and gentlemen. Move along. That's enough. That's enough plebing from you plebes. No more plebing, please. The elites have some work to do here. Let me get on my Gulfstream jet at $10,000 an hour and fly back home. So that I can turn around and fly back to D.C., and then I can turn around and fly back home again. And New Braunfels, Texas, about 10 times for some reason. Well, excuse me. Move along. I'm sorry I'm not amused by this. I'm sorry that I didn't know that this stuff was going on before. Like, I think it's time we start looking at all of our political organizations, and we start asking all of them, is this how you're spending money? Whose money are you spending? And how are you stockpiling so much of it? How on earth are you stockpiling enough money to fly on a plane like that? And you know what? I'll make a commitment. I'll make a commitment right now. If Erika Kirk has someone from TPUSA reach out to me, I will buy her coach tickets for the next two trips she goes on. She can fly Southwest. I can put it on a Delta card. She can fly Delta or American. No, not first class, not business. We're talking coach, sitting back there with the commoners, the uprisers. I'll buy her next 2 trips. I don't care where she's going, as long as they're domestic, lower 48, please. I'm not paying for you to go to Maui. But I'll pay for the next 2. Contact me in the next 24 hours or so. By 7:30 tomorrow night. I'll be happy. You tell me when. I would love to see her in coach. In fact, I might go with her. In fact, I will. I'll fly to where she's leaving. I'll buy the seat next to her. Come on, Erika. We're getting on a plane. Yes, we're drinking Virgin Bloody Marys. It's going to get wild. You're going to love it. You're going to love it, Erika. Back here in Coach. Oh, no, there's not a lot of leg room. I apologize. Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. All right. Now, all of this has to be in context of the way Charlie Kirk set this organization up. I almost came to tears. Keep in mind, I wasn't the biggest fan of Charlie Kirk in his later years. And the reason was simple. Because he had gotten so far away from what I'm about to show you. He'd gotten so far away from it that I forgot who he used to be. There was a time where this was normal Charlie Kirk. This was the Charlie Kirk we all knew and loved. This wasn't, political, just I want you to just hear this. He's talking to Jenny Thomas, Clarence Thomas's wife. She asked him, well, you'll hear the question here.
Talk about why you've picked the issues you've picked and what do you avoid
Sure.
in the whole.
So since our founding, we completely avoid social issues. We don't talk about gay marriage or abortion or any of that. And people ask, well, why is that? And I say, quite frankly, when I wanted to start this organization, I saw a lot of the just cursory polling that my high school political science department did. Almost 70 or 80% of my high school graduating class said they supported same-sex marriage. Wow, that's almost overwhelming. And when I talked to these young people, and I know a lot of them that took the poll, I said, well, how do you identify politically? Oh, I'm a Democrat because I believe in gay marriage and abortion. I said, hold on, there's about 15 other issues that are very, very important to the broader scheme of, governance and, our lifestyle in general. But they only looked at politics through the prism of those two issues. So if, we had this crazy idea, and it's not a unique idea, many organizations do it, and, also political enterprises ever since. What if we remove those from the conversation and say those are important, but we're not going to engage in that conversation? Let's talk about free markets, limiting government, skepticism of big governmental power, and fiscal responsibility. And we saw broad-based appeal, acceptance of those ideas and values, a more receptive audience of that conversation. And because of that, talking about those particular issues, you can engage a generation that otherwise would have identified as a liberal or a Democrat or someone not on our side, and then say, well, there's about 20 other issues here that we have to talk about. I guarantee about 16 of them resonate with you. And that would be the first time they ever heard that, because they were told then the liberals want it this way. You believe in gay marriage, you must be a Democrat, no other issue, that's it. And they've actually been able to win over a lot of people based on that. But they don't win the argument on taxes, on limiting government, on well-run government, on balancing budgets, on creating. That's not an argument they want to have. They're always trying to steer it away back to abortion and gay marriage. And we're trying to go where we think the liberals are weakest.
I want to leave that freeze frame right there, because that is a Charlie I really liked. That's like 21-year-old Charlie. There's no Erika Franzwe on the horizon. There's no Tyler Boyer around yet. I don't think. There's no Rob McCoy. There's no Mikey McCoy. There's no Andrew Colvett. There's no billionaire donors trying to influence his foreign policy, desperately trying to co-opt this organization, trying to take advantage of the millions of people he's reaching and put a message in his mouth that ultimately will get him killed. He was led to the slaughter. And I look at that picture and I think, hey, I do remember that Charlie. Like I let myself believe I wasn't a big Charlie Kirk fan, because the last couple years I wasn't. But I wasn't because of the way Erika Kirk is running the organization now, the way Tyler Boyer is running the organization now, the way Mikey McCoy is running the organization now, the way Andrew Colvette's running the organization now. I'm not a big fan of that at all. But that message right there, fiscal responsibility. Now, let me ask you a question. If you're flying a Gulfstream 5 to a 40-minute interview in New York City from Scottsdale at the cost of tens of thousands, 30, 40, 50, maybe 60 or $70,000, is that fiscal responsibility? Don't you see how governments sort of get out of control now? TPUSA, this was your message. This was your message, not mine. Actually, it was mine, but I wasn't the one on TV with Jenny Thomas. This was your message. You guys were preaching fiscal sanity, fiscal responsibility. This was the only thing you talked about. You avoided social issues. You avoided foreign policy issues. You avoided religious issues. You wanted to identify people on 2 or 3 issues. That's what you were trying to accomplish. That is the founding man's message. He just told us what it was. Let's put the divisive stuff aside and let's focus on the things we all agree on. Now, later, vultures would come in and stick their, and I'm including his wife, stick their little creature claws in him and suck the life out of him. Literally suck the life out of him. And it would become about foreign policy. It would become a divisive religious organization. Decidedly anti-Islam, decidedly anti-Catholic, decidedly anti-anything except a particular brand of this or that Christianity. That wasn't the founding message. Jewish people, Muslims, Christians, we can all believe in fiscal sanity. Gay, straight, purple-haired, furry, we can all believe in sanity, fiscal sanity. This message, he's still alive. With this message, he's still alive. Now, he might not have been able to drag in $100 million in donations. He might not have been sitting in the White House. Maybe. But I don't think that's what he wanted. I don't think that's what he wanted. I think that's what the people around him wanted. They're like parasites. I don't think that's what they wanted. I saw that clip today. I don't even know how I came across that clip. Oh yeah, I do. I was looking for something in particular and pulled that up. But I saw that clip today. I got very emotional. I thought, man, I remember that Charlie. I remember liking him. He appealed to my college sense of why is politics hard? Why doesn't everybody just want to cut? I remember thinking when I was young, like freshman, sophomore in college, I remember thinking, why doesn't someone just go to the president of France and say, why don't you guys just cut taxes? Like your taxes are so high. That's in Germany. That's why your unemployment rate's 16%. Why don't you just cut your taxes? I mean, it was so easy to me. It was such a basic, fundamental thing. Well, if you just were a little more fiscally conservative, you would have greater economic growth. You would attract industry. Why aren't you doing it? Politics is always much simpler when you're 20, 21 years old. Gosh, I'm so emotional right now. I don't even want to go over this Laurie Cardoza Moore stuff. I may kick that. It's such a right turn here. I'm going to start the conversation. I got this from Diligent Denizen. He's the one who put all this together. I don't want to steal credit from him. He grabbed this screen grab of the text. This is the insane, unhinged, lunatic text this woman sent to Charlie Kirk. It just happened to land, I believe the story goes, the day before he passed away. All the people that trusted you, Jews and Christians, including me, why would you platform anti-Semites like Candace and Tucker? There are many evangelical Christian Zionists who would never give these people the opportunity to spew their hatred. And it goes on from there. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's on the screen. You can pause it and read it if you want. Don't be counted among the Edomites. It will be to your peril. as well as the unfinished work God was going to do through you. It's as clear of a threat as anything I've ever heard. And the preceding sentence, God warns us in the last days, he will wipe out the descendants of Edom. Don't be counted among the Edomites. In other words, don't get wiped out, Charlie. Well, I saw that text and I thought, this woman's nuts. This woman's absolutely a lunatic. And so I heard from some folks, and I realized she lived around here. And she's actually was on the Tennessee Textbook Commission, to the great shame, frankly, of our House Speaker and our governor. They need to do away with her. Not in the way she wanted to do away with Charlie. Don't get the wrong idea, Governor. I'm not asking for any neutralizations here. That's what they do. I'm not asking her to be counted among the Edomites. No. I'm just asking for her to politely be escorted out of the meeting and forced to resign. That's all I want to do. But I want to go through this here because this is her nonprofit. And I want to point something out here because she's running a nonprofit. And I did look up where she lived. And if the public records are correct, her house around here is valued at around $5 million. That's a lot of house. And apparently she just moved into it not long ago. And there's apparently another house because this is headquartered in Maitland, Florida. But as I go through this, let me go back to the bottom here. Before I even open one up, I just want to scan through and show you something here. She raised in 2011. These are fiscal year ending December. She's been doing this for 15 years. This grift has been going on for 15 years, where you're running a nonprofit. She raised $500,000. 16% of that was paid to executives. The program services, $20,000. 4%. Now we go up to the next one, 2012. Executive compensation, $120,000, 21%. One out of every $5 that came in got paid to the executives. Her, I'm assuming. Here's another one. $566,000 came in. 21% of it got paid to her. $120,000 paid to her. Like, if you're paying yourself 20% of a nonprofit, that's not a nonprofit. You're just someone's contractor. You're an employee. You should be paying taxes on that. Like, that money should be taxed. That should not be a write-off for the person paying it. That should be 1099, and you have to pay both sides of that. Or the person paying it should not get the write-off at all. Either way. 2014. Again, $670,000 comes in. She makes $120,000. Again, 18% of the total is being paid to her. 40 going to someone else. We could look into where that's going in a minute if we have time, but you'll notice some of the other people, like her husband's media company, some of her kids. 2015, making $750,000. Well, she's making 120 of it. Next time, $855,000. So this is, I mean, what would you do if someone just gave you $855,000 and you got to travel around on it? You got to, I'll open one of these up and let you see what they're doing. It's tremendous where this money goes. It's absolutely unbelievable. She got a little raise. Now she's making 125, 14% of the 855,000. So this goes on and on and on, right? This goes on for the years. I don't want to bore you to tears by going through all this, but this is the most recent one. Fiscal year ending December 2024. I'm telling you, we need to look into every one of these nonprofits. Every single one of these nonprofits needs to be examined like this, not just TPUSA. All of them. It is the biggest racket going right now. It is absolutely a racket, and it must be stopped. Nonprofits are like the Boys and Girls Club. You take care of the fields. You buy some umpires. You know, you got a little building where the kids can change clothes. Maybe you got a basketball gym. The YMCA, you got a little basketball gym. You got some soccer fields out there. That's a nonprofit. You running around preaching about foreign policy and that is not a nonprofit. I'm sorry. That's just not what it is. You sending threatening text to Charlie Kirk the day before he dies, that is not a nonprofit. That is the taxpayer subsidizing you for being a clown, for running around and spouting off political opinions. That is not a nonprofit. Like, that's an internet troll. That's just a troll on X. I deal with them every day. I have to block them. That's all you are, is a troll. Brought in $988,000. Paid herself $166,000 of it. 27.5% of the haul went to executive compensation. Paid this Jeanette Hackler girl $67,000. I looked Jeanette Hackler up. I think she's like an 87-year-old woman around Dallas. I have no idea what this woman's doing. Why is she still working? It may be the wrong one, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. I think I'm right. I don't know why. I mean, that's like elder abuse right there if you're making this woman work at 87 years old. But let's just open it up and look and see where some of this money's going. Current year raised $987,000. Program services revenue, $1,600, which means you're not raising much. Grants, only $19,000. Only $19,000 is being paid out to other organizations that might benefit from this money. Salaries, compensation, and employee benefits, almost half. $445,000 of the almost $1 million went to salaries, compensation, and employee benefits. They're just taking money, giving someone a tax write-off, and paying themselves half the money. It is absolute lunacy. That is not a nonprofit. That is a scam, in my opinion. In my opinion, I'm not saying it's illegal. I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong. I'm saying it strikes me as highly unethical and immoral according to my beliefs. Obviously, she's getting away with it. It must be legal. I'm not sure it should be. Now, this other expenses, so you're giving yourself half the money, not yourself, but you and your employees half the money. What are you doing with the rest of it? What's this other expenses? Well, we'll look at that in just a second. This is down on part 9. Let's see where this other $387,000 goes. So let's go down to part 9 and look at this. This is great. That's part 4. Oh man, this is a long return. Here we go. Part 11. Oh, I went too far. Oh gosh. Okay. Part 6, part 8, part 9. Oh, that's other assets. Where's the other expenses? It's on here somewhere. It was like paying to run some program she's doing. Oh, where did it go? This would happen. Oh, here it is, right here. I went too far. Yes, here we go. Part 9, statement of functional expenses. So 19,000 of it was grants out of almost $1 million. Compensation of key employees. We already talked about that, and payroll tax and all that. The benefits for the employees, other salaries and wages, was like $455,000. $6,000 in accounting fees. Well, that Jeanette Hackler is an accountant, I think. If I'm thinking of the right person, that you paid $67,500, what did you pay her for if not accounting fees? Now, here's the other, $92,000 in other. We'll find that in just a second. Advertising and promotion. They paid all this money to advertise and promote themselves. Office expenses. It's being run out of your house. What office expenses are there? You have an office? Travel. Look at all that travel expense. Look at all that travel expense. $60,000. $61,000 in travel. Now, these people travel well. I haven't spent $61,000 in travel in the last 15 years. That's not true. But that probably is true. Conferences and meetings, $12,000. Insurance, $26,000. What are you insuring? What are you paying insurance for? You already gave employee benefits up here. You already gave compensation. What is the $26,000 you're paying in insurance? Now, this NRB expenses, this is great right here. NRB expenses, I think I've looked this up. This is to pay to have, I think, I could be wrong. I think this is to pay to have her inane ramblings broadcast on some sort of service. Like YouTube is free. You just open it up and you start babbling. And if people want to listen, they'll tune in. 25,521 of you are doing that right now. But I think if I'm reading this correctly, this NRB, this is an NRB National Religious Broadcasters. I think that means, she's paying to have a program run on that station. That's the way I look at it. I don't know what else she would be paying for. Dues and subscriptions, 20 grand. What dues and subscriptions? I mean, this is like just blowing money. If this was your money, you would never spend $20,000 on dues and subscriptions. Fees, production expenses. You know what her husband does? He produces stuff. Her husband's a producer, like a videographer, makes edits, makes movies, videos. I'm not even getting into the personal side tonight, Laurie. I don't want to. I'm not even getting into your history on the commercials. I'm not even getting into that. But I look at this and I say, guys, in light of this crazy woman, Laurie Cardoza Moore, who sent the most unhinged text to Charlie Kirk the day before he passed away, the most unhinged text to Charlie Moore the day before he passed away. Basically saying, if you keep this up, you're going to die. I don't know any other way to read that text. Maybe there's some other innocent explanation for how to read that text. But when I see this, just basically a low budget internet troll, and then I realize, no, she's raking in $1 million a year of tax-free money. Flying all over the place, paying to have her inane ramblings put up on some religious broadcasting service. I look at this stuff and I think this has got to be reined in. This is not what they had in mind when they passed all this legislation that allowed these nonprofit entities. I really think they thought people are going to be opening schools for kids. Oh, you want to like we otherwise would be doing this as a government. If you're willing to do it, we'll at least not make you pay taxes. That's kind of the idea behind a nonprofit. Like, we have to educate all these kids. There's millions of kids every year. We have to educate them all. But if you're willing to educate them, we're not going to charge you taxes. If someone gets sick and hurt and they have a broken leg and they come in and they want to get an ankle surgery on like an emergency, we're not going to charge you taxes. Like, that's a nonprofit. Most of the hospitals you would walk into are nonprofit. Well, this is becoming fewer by the year, frankly, but they used to all be nonprofits. Like the Baptist Church would open one, the Baptist Hospital in Nashville. Now it's Ascension, Centennial, whatever it is. St. Thomas Hospital in Nashville. These are nonprofits run by churches. Vanderbilt Hospital, a nonprofit run by a university. Like, that is an essential service that's being performed by private citizens, so we don't charge them taxes. Inane ramblings around our greatest ally and threatening Charlie Kirk, that is not it. That is not what they had in mind when they passed this stuff. That's not what we were looking for. We weren't looking for you to run a nonprofit to dump your foreign policy preferences on people and force them to listen to it. That is not it. Not what they had in mind. And it's gross. It's just gross. And I don't know, what is the IRS doing? Like, why are they not reviewing these people to say, should you keep? Like, I think every 2 or 3 years, your nonprofit should have to go through a nonprofit review. You should have to justify your nonprofit status every 2 or 3 years. Here are the things we've done. Here's a sample of what we've produced. And somebody should look at it and say, no, that's not going to cut it, pal. That's the insane ramblings of a mad woman. You're proclaiming justice to the nations. You're out. Honestly, that's it. Like if you're a church, a legitimate church, and you don't want to pay federal taxes, I'm okay with it. But you acting like you're some quasi-religious entity because you have some quasi-religious message that's shrouding over really just a foreign policy position? No, you're out. We're not allowing it. We're not doing that. And I think if they don't, it's only going to get worse because the hucksters have realized this is a real loophole. Why would I go to work? Why would I spend 60, 70 hours a week on this broadcast to come to you guys to make a few peanuts from YouTube so that I could try to feed my family? Why would I do that when I could just open a nonprofit and get some billionaire to pay me money? And then I can jump on here and it doesn't matter if anyone's listening to me or not. I can just start ramming my political opinions down people's throats and there's no tax obligation. I could jet set. I could get a Gulfstream 5, fly all over the place, get involved in politics, basically play all day. That's all they're doing. I mean, it's such a fundamental, unjust mischaracterization of what a nonprofit is supposed to be and do. And it's just bothering me. It's just bothering me. I have no time to get to the timeline. We'll be here all night because that's going to be a few minutes that we'd have to go through. So we'll get to some of the comments. I don't think I had anything else other than the timeline. Hey, Ron Bayron. I grew up across from Brentwood High School. I sold my company 2 years ago, engineering. IRS would come down on competitors hard if they tried to hire contract labor. TB's arrangement would never be allowed for us. Yeah, I commented in your comments because this comment actually rolled in before the show started, and I commented. I went to Brentwood High School in the mid-1990s, so I know precisely where you grew up. I don't know what the IRS would do with the Tyler Boyer independent contract arrangement, but I do know they have a test, and that test needs to be applied. And we need to figure out why you would want your chief operating officer to be a contract employee and not an actual employee. Assuming I have a firm understanding of the facts, I might not. Maybe I'm misunderstanding something. Thank you for your generous donation. The one you feed. I wonder if the necklace wasn't related to the Big Bang at all. Possible the necklace could have had another purpose, like a tracking or monitoring device instead of just jewelry, monitoring his private conversations. Well, that's awfully cloak and dagger. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know how you would charge that or what the listening device would be. I mean, these portable mics are pretty good, but I think it'd be hard to disguise one as a necklace, but I don't know. But that's not a bad thought. Baron, do any of your children have the same wit as you? I can only imagine a Coleman family dinner. I've got some pretty funny kids, yeah. One of them in particular is very dry wit, but pretty funny. Yeah, we have fun. I had a friend who used to say he wanted to sit at our Thanksgiving table and listen to the humor because of my sisters and my conversations back and forth on Facebook. He thought they were pretty funny. My sister's got a very great sense of humor. Can you help me understand how Andrew Colvette's statements can be used for the investigation if he has been caught lying red-handed? I cannot help you understand that because I don't know precisely what you're talking about. How can they be used for the investigation if he has been caught lying red-handed? Okay, so you're saying can the I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. It certainly diminishes his ability to testify in the future. I mean, you're a demonstrated liar. And not only did we call you a liar, your boss called you a liar. Your boss said you lied when you said what the surgeon said. Erika Kirk called you a liar. And that's pretty devastating if you're Andrew Colvette. Okay, Baron. I've not mentioned it several shows, but you have a crooked picture, bottom right. Think it's MLK is crooked. Please fix it. It's driving me crazy. My OCD can't take it no more. Let me show you this. It's not a crooked picture. This is that you got a good eye. So it's not. The Martin Luther King picture is laying flat against the wall. Watch what happens. I'm going to have to unplug my ears here to show you this, but watch what happens if I lay Booker T. Washington and Rosa Parks flat against the wall. So I'm going to indulge you for $10. Oh, it didn't do it. You see what's happening there? You're getting, so I took some little boxes I had and I put them under the pictures to pop it up because you're getting the flash from my screen. See that? And so I propped her picture up just enough so that it would take that flash away. That's pretty creative, isn't it? Don't pay attention to the fact that I don't match. I was gonna match because I was gonna wear a light gray hoodie, but you guys crapped all over it in the pre-show poll, so I went and put a blue one on. There. Now Rosa doesn't have my computer screen on it. I used to have her laying flat, and it drove me crazy. Now, apparently, with the new camera, Booker T. Washington doesn't show anything anymore. But now I have to have Booker T. Washington up. So, yeah, everybody else is straight. It's just they were slightly away from the wall so that the reflection didn't show. Like, every time I moved my computer screen, it's not like you could read it or whatever, but every time you move my computer screen, it flashed in my eyes off to the corner of the screen. So that's what's going on. You got a good eye. You guys really watch stuff. Do I think Charlie sent a life insurance packet to Candace in case something ever happened to him like she sent out? No, unfortunately, I don't. I wish I had more to say about that, but I don't. I don't think he did at all. So basically, the world is run by people who never grew up, use money as their reasoning, and can't even admit they're terrible and worthless, allegedly. Just a bunch of sad little gremlins. Man, that's a pretty good summary. I don't know anything I can add to that. I mean, they're demon infested. Does that you didn't put that in there? No, you didn't have that. So I would add that. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty solid little summary. Erika Kirk gave grieving widow TV speech in white just 2 days after Charlie Kirk died. Likely took her at least 1 day dealing with family, funeral, writing speech, traveling, preparing, etc. How could she have any time to grieve with her kids? I don't think she wrote that speech, for one. How could she have any time dealing with her kids? Do we really believe her kids go everywhere with her? I got a picture of her supposedly taken 6 days after, and it disturbs me. It really disturbs me. If it's, I'm not showing it because I can't confirm it was taken 6 days after, and it would just be me saying someone allegedly said this, and that's not very helpful. Grumblers, I've got one from the Grumblers. Baron, can you get Tucker to interview her and ask the same balls of steel question he asked Altman with a straight face? Dude, that interview with Altman was freaking insane. He basically said, hey, so rumor has it you killed an employee. And Altman was like, are you accusing me of murder? He's like, well, yeah. That was nuts. I remember where I was. It was the summer. I was walking down my street. I was coming down the hill on the right-hand side of the road over there. I remember where I was. And that's how much of an impression it made on me. I stopped and I was like, oh my gosh. I couldn't believe it. I hope Mitch's attorney sends Erika Kirk, Brian H., and the others that were at Fort Huachuca the days before Charlie Kirk was executed. Sends them what? Oh, a subpoena or something? Yeah, that'd be interesting. I don't know how he could do that, but that would be interesting. I don't know what standing he would have to subpoena them. I mean, is there a case? There's not an active case, is there? Baron, your opening statements are the best. It makes me think of Paul Harvey, and I always look forward to the rest of the story. Dale Earnhardt, huh? Dale Earnhardt fan? I wondered how that was going to go over. I thought, man, as I was writing it, I was like, this is going to be interesting. They may not like the race cars. And, you can kind of safely sometimes get a sports story in with football or something very popular. Auto racing's a niche sport. Emailed about TPUSA ag defense pivot. Ag defense? Eric Schmidt, man in Plain Window, and Laurie Francevay, GE, Fort Wack, use 50 CFR 22 religious eagle permits to bypass FAA on Farnsworth land for AI drone tests with superfeed. There's a lot going on in this comment, sir. I'm gonna have to read your email. Sent 126 at 4:56 p.m. Oh, so that's today. I'll find it. That won't be hard to find. Thank you for that, by the way. Thank you. Any plans for a book club? We talked about it. Yeah, I think I think we'll start with a book list, and then maybe after people have had a chance to read a few of them, maybe we'll pick one off of it and say, hey, we'll have maybe a members only show or two to discuss the book. But I don't know that I want to grab like a 300-page book and go through 20 pages at a time for 15 shows. I think that would be tough for me. I voted Gray. I'm so sorry to disappoint. Gray only had like 14%. Next time. Next time, because it's clean and it's ready to go. Yeah, I know you could hear me. We can hear you. I'm going to miss the live. My daughter requested time from me and she takes priority. We'll watch it later. Christ is King. Yeah, I know you guys could hear me. I'm sorry. I had the mic on up there, not this mic. Sorry, guys. I'm trying. Oh, that's awfully. Thank you, Mr. or Mrs. Carmelkus. Oh, Carmel Kiss. That makes sense. You didn't read my super last night. That's okay, because I wanted you to sing it. And if you don't know, now you know. Oh, if you don't, Joe, now you know. I can't sing that. I'm white. I love the mauve sweatshirt. Yeah, see, I'm stuck after you don't know, now you know. Like I can't keep going with the song. I get in trouble. I can foresee you and Candace becoming lifelong friends. I would be down with that. I like her quite a lot. We've had great conversations and seem to get along swimmingly. So I'd be fine with it. There aren't too many people I don't get along with. I mean, I'm assuming like Tyler Boyer and Andrew Colvette, probably Erika Kirk probably wouldn't love to hang out with me. I don't think so. Do you think that Erica's kids are being groomed for a life like she has been groomed for? She acts like a shell of a real person. An op. Do you think her kids share that destiny? So I heard an interesting theory about her childhood, and I'm sitting with it. Like I'm mulling it over. The lips are out of sync with the sound. Is that true? Is it less than 100 milliseconds? Because I can change it 100 milliseconds at a time. You guys may not like me doing this on the fly. Let me see if I can change it 100 milliseconds at a time and see if that changes it. There. Now it's that might be better. Now I'll go back to this. Yeah, maybe. I think that might be it right there. We'll try this and see what happens. Nah, that looks worse. It's like we'll stick it there, see what happens. Sir Baron, you gave away all colors, but one was just plain blue was royal blue. Oh, that's a good point. No, I had light gray, didn't I? Wasn't it light gray? Thank you. Yeah, I talked about this the other night. I'm open to it. I just don't want to have to track Jimmy Dore down. If he wants to call me, I think he knows enough people who would be able to get in touch. Call Candace. He has her. He interviewed her. Call her. She can shoot you my number. I don't want to try to track him down. I'm not doing that. Hubs and I are moving to Nash Vegas this summer. I would ask for your church, Rec, because we are also Catholic, but I don't want to dox you. Thank you. So tell me, where's the best hot chicken sandwich? Praying for you. Gosh, I don't know. I'll be honest. I grew up around here. Hot chicken sandwich wasn't really a thing. Like it became a thing because Nashville was sort of becoming a thing. I hate to say everyone in Nashville is going to be mad at me for saying this, but it's a fact, Jack. The Nashville hot chicken sandwich was a very niche item. It's not like Nashville was known for it. And, all of a sudden in the last probably 10 or 15 years, it was like, well, Nashville has to have a dish. So let's go with hot chicken sandwich. And they're okay. They're good. Hattie B's is fine. That's probably where I would go if I just had to get a hot chicken sandwich. But it's always been weird to me. It's like the TriStar logo that's been on our state flag for 100-something years. That wasn't a thing either. Like nobody put the TriStar logo on anything. You might have had a flag at your house if you were whatever, but that little circle with the 3 stars in it, the center of the flag, that became a thing. That wasn't a thing. But now it's a thing. Like it's on the Predators logo. Missing from timeline, day Jews were promised TPUSA. Was it 3,000 years ago? Or yeah, that's not on the timeline. I'll talk to the staff and see if we want to add that. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Thank you. Your first live, be gentle. I'm a Joe. Yeah, but you're a Joe Z. That's different. That's totally different. Totally different. Praise Dale, raise hell. Yep. After Dale passed away, his wife completely changed his company. Yep. Aren't we seeing that take place again and again? There's no crying in podcasting. Have you been in touch with the patriotic housewife since that incident? I have not, but I wish her well. I do. No, I wish her very well. She puts out quality stuff. I have no issue whatsoever with her. Did you see side-by-side pics of Erika Kirk, JD Vance, and Satanist Michael Aquino? The familial resemblance is creepy. Same round faces and features. Her supposed father, Kent, is a ghost. I don't think he's that big of a ghost. I've seen pictures of him. I've seen pictures of her stepmom. I don't want to say her name because maybe she doesn't want to be known, but I've seen pictures of her stepmom, her stepsister, and her dad. So I wouldn't say he's exactly a ghost. I mean, they live in the Arizona area, but I've also seen pictures of her and JD Vance and Michael Aquino. Golly. It's creepy. They even have the same like Aquino goes, or he's dead now, but he goes all out with the pulling the stuff up, right? Like that. He's the guy that does this thing with his eyebrows. Why you would do that, I'll never understand, but he does. And if you look closely at JD Vance and Erika Kirk, they're kind of doing it too. Kind of, maybe a little. With their little round butterball faces. I don't know, man. I think they're all attractive, honestly. JD Vance, pretty good looking man. Erica's pretty good looking. I mean, objectively, a pretty attractive woman. Not my type, but she's like, she won Miss Arizona. Like, Miss Arizona USA. Objectively, I think most people would say she's an attractive person, but she, they all have the same facial structure. There's no doubt about that. My sound went back out? Are you sure about that? I don't know about that. 65 and clear skies here in California. Baron, praying for your family's safety and warmth. Carmel Kiss, the problem with that approach is you got Gavin Newsom. And I saw what's happened to your state over the last 30 or 40 years. It's bad. It's bad. First ever super. Love the show. Thank you. Texas girl. So I'd like to ask you, you're a radio man. Are you familiar with Michael Berry? Don't that name sounds familiar. I think I am. Michael Berry. Let me see. No, I don't think so, actually. That name sure sounded familiar. I don't think I am. I'd have to look into it more. For some reason, the name rings a bell, but when I looked at him, I don't recognize it. I live in Dale Earnhardt's hometown, Kannapolis, North Carolina. I bought one of those old mill houses. Well, look at you, Kelly. A brush with greatness. When the air is still and the clouds are low, can you hear number 3 coming around turn 4 in a late model? Can I tell your granny happy birthday? Happy birthday, Granny. 88 today. Wow, you've lived a long life. Sassy cowgirl Granny. You've lived a long life. You should be proud of that. Tell us your secret. Is it bacon and cigarettes? That seems to be everybody else's secret. All the healthy people I know drop dead. All the people that are like, I don't know, I smoke 2 pack of Camels a day and eat a pound of bacon. I'm 109. Oh, yeah, I'm also an alcoholic. Meanwhile, the guy over here is like cutting up broccoli like on his deathbed at 61. It's bad out there, people. It's bad out there. That is not Kentucky Wildcat Blue. You take that back. An Indiana man would never. Never. Now you're speaking my language of racing. IndyCar fan here. Oh, me too. Love IndyCar racing. Great. Can't believe you're an F1 fan. I'm both. I'm an open wheel fan more than stock cars. Although I do like Australian supercars. That's kind of a cool league. Like, I like their stuff. Ever been to Indy 500? No. Well, this will be my 28th consecutive year. You have to once. You won't regret it. I've been to the practices and things like that, but I've never been to the actual Indy 500. Let me see. We've got a lot, so I'm gonna have to get past a few here and there. Not a sports guy, but you do enjoy NASCAR and motorsports. To me, it's like chess with cars. Another stellar opening statement, Baron. Enjoy the historic references. Very creative and enjoyable perspective. Yeah, I think I'm a history buff. I love history, but I think the past is the key to the present. Like I think you when you what's the way to put it? Like if you wanna nothing's new under the sun. Maybe that's the way it is. There's nothing new. Humans are humans, and humans are going to do what humans do. Like even like a horrific experience like Mao in China, Hitler in Europe. Now, they didn't create mass murder. They didn't create conquest and enslaving people and killing people. So the past is the key to understanding the present. Understanding what humans have done in the past will help you unlock what humans are doing in the present. That's why I've always loved history. And so I'd like, if I can find a historical, that doesn't always work, but if I can find a historical tie to what I want to talk about on a particular day, I like to write about it. My sibling's dad is Chris Trickle. Interesting read if you're ever bored. Love that you're talking about NASCAR. Chris Trickle died, didn't he? He's not alive, is he? Or is that a different Chris Trickle? Maybe I'm wrong. I thought there was a Chris Trickle. Am I thinking of someone else who died in the late 90s? But anyway, let me look that up because I don't want to tell her boyfriend's. I don't want to be the one to break the news to her. Your sibling's dad is Chris Trickle. Did he die? Oh, yeah, he died March 25, 1998. American stock car racing driver. He was murdered in a drive-by shooting that remains unsolved. I knew he was dead. Yeah. There's several racing trickles, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. All right. I'm sorry to hear that about your sibling's dad. Any word on Brian Harpole's future flights to Charlie Kirk events? You mean future as in like today going forward, or future as in the day he died, because there weren't any planned? I've already shared that. I think that might have gotten someone fired. Sorry about that. No, I don't think that got anyone fired. I think they tried to fire some people, but I don't think it worked. I'm not. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to let you guys put me in this position. No. You go watch Gary if you want blinking. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. On behalf of all high IQ Joes, we denounce Joes that don't think before they speak. Still waiting for body mic evidence. Love the blue. But you're not Joe. You're Joey. She was Joe. J-O. Saul CC. Coach Collins morning. Viewer noted the logo behind Erika Kirk's AmFest changed from TPUSA to TPUSA to TP Action seconds after Erika Kirk endorsed JD Vance. Between bedazzled Erika Kirk and BBD Gary, they're digging the ditch deeper. RBP and high IQ fam. Is that now? I watched a good chunk of Coach this morning, but admittedly, I had to jump off. And I texted him and told him I had to jump off at some point. He's doing such a good job on those lives. I had to jump off at a certain point, start getting ready for this show. But I didn't catch that part where the background changed. I don't have time to look it up right now. Oh my gosh, you guys break my heart with these things. This happened to me. My husband died of a heart attack in the business, dropped in my lap, ran it for 7 years and sold it so hard. Oh, wicked smart. You must be from Boston. A royal blue hoodie for the Prince of Podcasts. I'll allow it. We'll allow it today. Any update of the photos of Charlie's arms? Yes. Well, I mean, no update, but I know that YouTube got all wild and argued with me until 2 a.m. when I showed his arms last time, so I'm not making that mistake again. They got mad. I don't know. My guess is someone at TPUSA got mad, and then YouTube got mad on their behalf. Catherine Graham at the Washington Post. Was that a successful takeover? I mean, it's the Washington Post. What year did she take over? 1963. 1963. She was married to Philip Graham. Not Phil Graham, the former senator. Wasn't he from Texas? Digging deep into the old memorial archive there, ladies and gentlemen. That's correct. That's correct. Rick Parker. Thank you, Rick. Skip, if you'd like, just curious, if all 8 kids are from your wife, were y'all high school sweethearts? We want to know more about Bayron. You the best. Yeah, all 8 of ours are together. We got married in 2001. My junior year in college, she had just graduated. I think a junior, senior year. It was right before my senior year started. And our first kid was born a few years after that. Right after I got out of law school. I went to law school, and then we had kids that following fall. I graduated in May, and then we had kids that fall. We were not high school sweethearts. We grew up differently. We met my second year, her third year in college. I think I've told this on this show. If not, I'll tell it again quickly. We shared a balcony on our apartment. Like it was, I can't remember, it was 5 or 6 apartments on one floor, but she was the end and I was one of the ones in the middle. But you had to come up the stairs right to my apartment to turn left and go into hers. And I was sitting on the porch one day, and I was captivated. It's the first time I ever saw her, laid eyes on her. She came bounding up the stairs. I mean, it was like she was carrying her own wind. Like like she was in a slow motion 80s music video and like a hard rock ballad, and they're like, and I heard music. She came up, she turned, I was like, hey. She goes, hey. Walked into her apartment, closed the door, like, well, who's that creep? And next time I talked to my mom, I said, I met the woman I'm going to marry. And she's like, oh my gosh, what's her name? And I was like, I don't know yet. I haven't talked to her. But I met her. I saw her. And I knew right then, like I was captivated. It took a little while to win her over. I had to work on it a little while. But I wore her down. I finally got her. No, that was in August. By the first time we went on a date was mid-October, so a couple months. I was doing my best out there, ladies and gentlemen. Doing my best out there. But yeah, that's how we met. It's like the lead singer of a great band died. The great band also dies, just never the same. And that's without all the twisted scenarios. Yeah, I would. Well. Yeah, Jerry Garcia, the same thing. Now, the Dead toured for decades after he died, but you're right. They were never the same. EK still popping Israel up on the pedestal after knowing Charlie had sent out text saying, I think they're going to kill me. Seems wildly obvious. Crazy how low IQ can't see this. Sonic Blue. I'll allow Sonic Blue. Yeah, I mean, the fact that everything he was saying in the last 3 or 4 weeks was like, this is not ending well. I have to leave the cause. I think they're going to kill me. And then they're like, oh, this is amazing. He never said any of that. He was their biggest defender. They're giving him an award. I mean, I know that, but I saw someone post a picture of those kids without her finger under a TPUSA post, and I've been wondering if it's real or AI. Probably AI. I think I did see one pic of the girl's face. I would never share it. But I think I came across one that I don't think was AI. I think it was real. And I wasn't looking for it. I was just scrolling, and someone's like, here's a picture, whatever. Love the OS connection. They started the foundation together, maybe. I believe CK realized what was going on. How could he not? I wish CK had one friend at TP that cared enough. When I see OS, I think operating software. What are we talking about? What's the OS connection? I don't know what that is. I make myself watch you in the morning at work. You make yourself? You don't enjoy it, Helga? Yeah, you don't have to. Helga Shabalaba Ding Dong. I can't help myself. I got to say that every time I see your comment. Only problem is when I laugh out loud and look like a lunatic. Thank you for making work enjoyable. You're the best. Oh, so you don't make yourself. You choose to watch the next day. Bear on. Your focus looks perfect. Love your opening statement. That's what she was talking about. Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys. Glad you and the family are safe. So you only crossed out typed name on letter like that and handwrite name when you know the person to be personal, very weird and suspect from IRS. Wah. Well, they were on the same stage the day before. You know, they were on the same stage. I got to go back and read that. Oh, love the opening statement connection. I had to go back and read the comment from before. That is not Jayhawk blue. Guys, I'm not going to wear the blue if you guys are going to call it Kentucky or Jayhawk blue. Rock, chalk, KU. I'm not doing that. No. I'm still, like I said, I'm still sore from the early 90s tournament losses to the Kansas Jayhawks. We're not doing that. Though I think Indiana has won 2 national championships beating Kansas in the final game, if I'm not mistaken. But that was long before I was born. Only high IQs hit that like button. Yeah, pony up, like buttoners. Let's see where we are tonight. I hate to beg, but YouTube is that way. They make me beg. We're getting close. You guys are doing well, but a few more likes wouldn't hurt. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. It's just YouTube loves that. They really do. They see people subscribing. Like I tell people this, and they don't believe me. If your show's not growing, YouTube stops sending it out. Like they don't want a show that's holding steady. You're either pushing on, or you're like they're dialing it back on you, and you gotta grow again. They're weird like that. Some time ago, I suggested selling your opening statements, brief history lessons, and interesting details. Have you considered teaching? High school students would love you. Your animations are entertaining, especially the wiggly eyes. It's called OCIA now, but it used to be RCIA. I taught RCIA classes. That's like you want to be a Catholic? We make you take classes. It's not like those churches where you just go, oh, I'd like to be Presbyterian. Like, okay, well, sign here. Sign this statement. Okay, yeah. I'd like to be a Baptist. Okay, here's a tub of water. You can come right in. No. We got 9 months of classes. Like, it's like birthing a child. And if you miss too many, we don't let you in. We want to make sure you know what you're signing up for. So I taught those classes for a long time. Not every class every week, but 2 or 3 classes a year on that. I always enjoyed that. Maybe 20 or so different topics I taught on. I taught accounting 1 and 2 to like community college people. I taught medical law and ethics. I've taught, and I've enjoyed it. I like teaching. I don't think I've taught anything else. I was a substitute teacher years ago when I was in college and married and poor. I didn't have class on Friday, so I substitute taught on Friday. I will never teach high school because of that experience. I had to send a kid to the office. I felt miserable. Felt terrible for weeks. Manuka Honey Drops fun. Ordered 3 boxes today, ladies and gentlemen. They're amazing. And they keep your, you see me over here. As I was playing clips, I kept going back to it. They keep your throat. I mean, they really do keep your throat going. It's if you have trouble with your throat coming in and out and maintaining the strength, they work. Those are the best. Also get Beekeeper's Natural Propolis throat spray. Got to protect your high IQ voice. I get tickled when you look up at the ceiling for answers. Never change. There's a spot I look at. I don't know why. Now I'm paranoid about it. Now I'm going to look to the side. No more looking up at the ceiling. Perfection is not our Baron's crown. Thank you, Ivan. Yeah, I'm going to have to clip all that off from the beginning. I don't want people to think I'm an idiot. They'll look at it and be like, this is the guy who was saying Joe was low IQ. He can't even figure out what mic to put on. I thought I had it on. I had it going through the right ears, but I didn't click the right mic. We honor mind, wisdom, and human truth. We're no common Joes. Your small missteps remind us that warmth outshines flawlessness. God bless you and yours. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed, Ivan. Thank you. I saw this. Don't be a Joe on YouTube, Our Music Media. That was funny. I enjoyed that. You're great. Thanks for your ministry to the world. Prayerfully, you will be allowed to continue speaking truth. Jesus reigns down forever. Yeah, the alternative is I'm not around. So I agree with you. I'm prayerful of that as well. I'd like to be around and take care of my wife and kids. Let's see. Every time Erika speaks, it reminds me of Kamala. I'm sorry. I know she's supposed to be Kamala, but there's a clip of her walking out on the street after they like shamed everyone that called her Kamala. Somehow they gaslit us into believing that was never her name. It was always her name. She was always Kamala Harris from the time she was the attorney general and then a U.S. senator. Then she decides she's going to run for vice president. And all of a sudden it's Kamala, not Kamala, Kamala. In the midst of that campaign, there's a picture of her running out to some street like Cleveland or somewhere. Hey, Cleveland, it's Kamala. And I'm like, told you. I told you it was Kamala. Anyway, I'm always left wondering if I'm slow or if what they said actually absolutely made zero sense. No, it made zero sense. Like, she may be pretty, but she ain't that bright. I'll be honest with you. I'm married, but OMG, I love you, Baron. How can I get my husband to love you? Just turn it on. How could you not? I kid. He's in finance, so watches stock stuff, but I need him to watch Baron with me. I agree. I couldn't agree more. So just make him. Is it possible TPUSA wanted to fake Charlie's death for a fake miracle, and people who wanted Charlie dead found out and infiltrated the operation? Yeah, I don't know about fake miracle, but it's the first part has crossed my mind that there was. I mean, it's crossed my mind. I'm not concluded it, but it definitely crossed my mind that potentially that's what happened. Yes. Hiding to my left, AK was always on Charlie Kirk's left on the Charlie Kirk Show. Also, episode of Charlie Kirk that Tucker hosted, AK admits CK had to tell him we don't lie. I remember that as well. I remember that. Baron. At first, I didn't notice her eyes glitch out when you talked about it, so I ended up just listening in the background, but I saw a zoom in of it today, and it left me with a disturbed feeling. Yeah. It's not glitching out. That's something else coming out. A greeting from Florence. I could definitely see you running out on stage with your bean paste cape. If I get a cape, it's going to be bean paste colored. That's correct. Here comes Mr. High IQ. Yeah, it's going to have an IQ symbol on it. Baron. I kid, of course, don't be a Joe like the show. Ooh, I like that. Don't be a Joe. Don't be a Joe like the show. Her repertoire of vocab and adjectives is very limited. I shudder at the beautiful, powerful, so powerful, intentional. We laugh because, and it's not. Yeah, it's like she has trouble answer. It's like, I think she's just scared to death to answer a question. Maybe that's the better way to put it. I don't want to say she has trouble answering a question. It's like she's scared to death to answer a question. Scared to death she's going to make a mistake. That's not confidence. Like, that's not a CEO. Spit it out. You're the leader of a company of 700 people. Spit it out. You've been asked a question. Answer it. Answer what the question was. Yes, it was so cringy. Anyone else think it's cringy? She refers to herself as a boss babe after losing her husband. Picking up the man all means she's showcasing a real personality she's been hiding. Yes. You nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. For the Ultralink, Carr, Farnsworth, and Terrell are related, trying to reach you or coach. I'm getting bounced tech-wise. I'm the one that said comment about the gate on Candace a couple Thursday ago. Can I email you? Yeah, you can email me. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. I'm slow on them. You know, I would be a lot faster if you guys would only email me tips. I'm not interested in what other people's shows are. You don't have to send them to me. I watch what I'm going to watch. You don't have to say, have you seen this? When the Wolves in Finance video comes out, I don't need 200 emails about the Wolves in Finance video. I'm not making fun of you. I'm not being ugly. I'm just saying, if you want me to respond to more emails, don't send me videos that people are sending. Send me tips. Like, hey, This happened to me. Like there was a great thing, and it's a woman I need to get back in touch with. She was talking to me about a very sensitive thing that happened to her when she was a child. And if she's listening, I heard it, I read it, and I'm going to get back in touch with you when I have time. But that's like a tip. Telling me what, I mean, I get so many, you should watch this. I cannot watch 250 hours of podcasts a day. I just can't. Who's Erika? Short coin. That's not your first comment. I've seen that name before. You know who Erika is. You might not want to know, but you do. I was reading published obituaries for Charlie Kirk, and his family was barely mentioned in them. I still have a hard time believing his family story. Also, it's stated in there in Wikipedia that he was shot. Yeah. I mean, that tends to be the prevailing narrative. I don't think they've yet begun to prove that he was shot, but that certainly is the prevailing narrative. Best mods in the business. I couldn't agree more, Ivan. They do such a good job. Oh, there's one there. Curious Troll. I've noticed a lot more trolls in the chat when you talk about for Huachuca. Left and right today. Mod Squad is on it, though. Yeah, maybe they've got some kind of algorithm. You know, with this Claudebot thing popping up, it would be real easy to put a Claudebot bot together. I didn't even think about that. I could have a lot of fun with that. I've got a spare Mac Mini right here. You know, it doesn't have anything on it. So I could open up a Claudebot that just stalks YouTube and Twitter. I mean, you could make a cool bot with one of those. I don't know if you guys know anything about this Claudebot. It's taking the world by storm. I'm not recommending you install it yet. Let's wait a few months and see if it has any bugs. But if it doesn't, we're gonna have some fun. High IQ Joe here. Thank you, Joanne. There's a lot of Joes, but high IQ Joes. Absolutely love the show, Baron. Love the gray hoodie. Love the Joe Crash Out. And I'm looking forward to loving your book of opening statements. Congrats on the success and God bless. And y'all are putting a lot of pressure on me to put those opening statements into a book. There's a lot of them. I have them. I have most of them. I don't know that I saved some of them, but I think I've saved most of them. But they'll need to be edited because you should see the shape they're in when I read them. That's why I trip all over them. I write and then there's so many errors survive. I do one proofread before I go just to get an idea how long it's going to be and to get an idea of the rhythm and the meter and all that. But I don't change it. I don't fix everything. So there's a lot of like squiggly lines as I'm just vomiting on the page. Those are $1,000 heels Erica's wearing with her cape. Are they really? I mean, you know, if you're going to spend $40,000 to $75,000 on a round trip flight from Scottsdale to New York, why not $1,000 heel? Jeez. Lurleen Wallace may not be an appropriate example since presumably George Wallace was right there to pull the strings or at least act as a consultant. Everyone assumed that, but still loved her. Well, I think she got a sympathy bump too. She died in office like a year later. So, someone else commenting on the heels. Christian Louboutin heels. Is this a thing? Never heard of that. How do you get to make say I wanted to make expensive heels? How would I make? Oh, wow. They are that much. Holy mackerel. Goodness gracious. Those are expensive. And they did have that little red thing under them. So you might be right. But like what makes a heel worth $1,000? Because I know you can get them for like $60. I see them at Dillard's when I'm walking through. Dude's body language is so uncomfortable. He obviously doesn't believe her. She's just ridiculous. Great work, Baron. You're my fave. You're my fave, Aroundy 7171. You're my favorite Aroundy. The 7171 version is the best. You know how they said the footage of TR is lost? Miraculously, well, wouldn't the interrogation video still be out there? Wouldn't that be public to view? Where's his body cam footage? Where's body cam footage? Anything? A lot of that will not be made public while there's a pending investigation. Sometimes they'll make stuff public, you know, if it's national outrage or whatever, but oftentimes they don't. Like a police shooting or something like that, they might. Thank you for convincing Coach Colin to go live. Look, Coach Colin, I'm not taking credit for that. He's a smart man. He'd make his own decisions. We did talk about it. We did talk about it. And I did encourage him to because I said, hey, man, your show's basically live anyway. It's not heavily edited. You're doing like 30 minutes unbroken. Just keep going. It's brilliant. He's funny. He's genuinely funny. So I enjoy it, and he's knowledgeable. Andrew Sorkin's wife, Pillar Queen, is an Uncanny Valley overload. I'm not trying to be mean, but I need a priest. Huh? I don't know what any of that means. Like, you probably do need a priest. You probably do need a priest. We love how many people you have led to the Lord through your show. You're doing the work of God. Christ is King. Christ is King indeed. Yeah, I had that conversation with the Lord today, as a matter of fact, sassy cowgirl. He and I have those conversations from time to time. It's a little overwhelming. So I like, hey, I need your help here, big fella. I was at the last race of Dale Earnhardt. NASCAR was never the same. TPUSA will never be the same without Charlie Kirk. Nobody likes you, Erika. I mean, golly. Mary, that was blunt. Oh my gosh. Nobody likes you. Ah, golly. In her opinion, Erika, clearly someone must like you. I haven't met that person, but someone has to. There's got to be someone out there that's like, oh, Erika, we love her. Right? I mean, surely. Or does everyone showing up at these events is like, well, maybe there'll be a crash. Maybe we'll get to see her glitch. Hey, Baron, I'm pretty sure from researching, Erika Kirk worked at Corcoran Group Real Estate while in New York. As always, love the show. Yeah, but did she sell anything? That's what I'm saying. Did she sell anything? Because I don't Corcoran Group in New York City. I don't have like I've not seen this long list of deals she was involved in. But maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Erika Kirk, let them eat cake. Yes, she's Marie Antoinette. Let them fly, coach. I'll buy the tickets, Erika. Has she texted yet? Let me look. Because I gave her 24 hours. No. Not yet. Line's open, Erika. 2 plane tickets on me, but you got to sit next to me. Oh my gosh. Is this true? Roll That Beautiful. The hotter they are, the crazier and more evil they are. Is that true? I'm going to have trouble when I walk back in there. Life's a smoke show. What ticks me off is Erika says she's a one-of-one situation. Lady, every woman is her own one-of-one situation. You're 100% correct about her. I tend to think I am. I don't know. Why does Erika always talk and stare up at the sky or ceiling? And always with sentences that go up like a question instead of a statement. That's a millennial thing. I don't think she can help it. The staring at the ceiling is not nearly as disturbing to me as she'll start closing her eyes and talking. And she'll do like a sentence or two this way. And I mean, I get dizzy if I'm talking with my eyes shut like that. That bothers me more. The cape was about a week after the leather pants where she put her hands on another woman's husband hair. The classy cape was damage control. Black was for the color. Golly. You people are just devastating. Goodness gracious. I agree. The infighting in the party is due to it heading towards the left and the base refuses to follow. I wouldn't say the left. I would say headed towards globalism. Like there's a good chunk of the right that does not want globalism. There's a good chunk of the left that doesn't want globalism. And we are refusing to follow. Oh, Shawnee, like to buy a vowel, please. Not ready to solve the puzzle. Shawnee, you break my heart every time I see the name. I got to get over that. Thank you for being so generous. Always so generous and always so topical. Thank you. Very generous donation. Getting in late, started from the beginning. It's now 0 days since a Coleman technical gaffe. Love it here. Best show on YouTube, hands down. Well, it's not the best because other shows don't have technical gaffes every time they start. Does the throat coat help with technology? If so, I need more of it. I need more throat coat if it helps with technology. Me too, Brian. Me too. I'm done with these people as well. It doesn't bother me that she's wearing excessive and tacky jewelry. Anyone who has to make their own money is much humble. But that she has a life created off the back of taxpayer subsidies and created nothing. Not only taxpayer subsidies, her husband as well. She also rode his coattails. Don't forget that. Oh, yeah. Didn't want to be around Turning Point while pregnant, but has her kids around it every day. Yes. Is that her Handmaid's Tale dress? No, it's a cape. It's a cape. Baron, I have no doubt you are 1 in a million lawyer. Because the obvious preparation and presentation, speaking your truth with passion, without apology. What I love most is the infectious chuckle, tickling yourself. I do tickle myself. I've been told it's unbecoming. But I'm not holding that against whoever said it. No. Shouldn't laugh at your own jokes, Baron. Like, well, they're hilarious. Corcoran Group. Hope y'all are staying warm and safe in Tennessee. Oh, that's where she worked, yeah. My daughters and I are snowed in here in Indiana without power as of right now. Should have stayed in Tennessee. It was a gamble. I'm sorry, silence is complicity, that you're going through a powerless snowstorm. Stay-at-home mama 6, well-adjusted kids, divorced after RN degree. No Social Security, so I'll work till I drop. Why don't you have Social Security? Erika Kirk is fake. Where are her kids? She should be banned from all cake. Did you see ATP was ballot harvesting? America's Turning Point, yeah. Love Royal Blue Baron. Oh, thank you. I did see their ballot harvesting. Let's ban her from the cake. That's fine. I'm more concerned why you don't have Social Security. Were you able to opt out for some reason? Everybody should be enrolled if you're working. That doesn't sound right to me. 23,000 viewers and only 5.5 thousand likes. Yeah, you're telling me. You people. Send some love to your humble host. Baron, you're my favorite podcaster. Love your energy, logic, and humor. Keep preaching the truth. I'm doing my best out here. 2 hours and 20 minutes in. I can't wait to get back on that throat coat, that Manuka honey drop. Wetter spoon. Oh, no, I hope not. I can almost imagine the cease and desist massive coming your way from this demonic entity. I don't think so, because I don't think I've said anything that's patently untrue. Like, I've speculated. I've guessed. I've given my opinion on what things might mean or how they might have happened, but I don't think I've said anything untrue. And if so, I'll correct it. I don't want to be wrong. Nobody wants to be wrong. Woke up at 1 a.m. to ask this and hopefully catch you live doing so. I emailed you some interesting info about flights, especially in 40JD. Hopefully you got them. Going back to sleep now. I will check. Have a good night's sleep. Where are you? That's Scotland? Is that a Scottish national flag? I can't do a Scottish accent. I said everything comes out Indian, so I'm not even going to try to do that. People in Calcutta get all offended every time I try to do an accent. I'm like, I'm trying to do a Mexican. I'm not very good at accents. I can't help it. The only accent I could do is young Donald Trump. The only one I think I can nail. And I got it too. Okay, I like this. Erica's the blonde Barbie version of Kamala Harris with her word salad nonsense answers. Christ is king indeed. Yes. Lived in Texas years ago. Ladies back then wore jewelry from the wrist to elbow. Rings on every finger, gobs of makeup, huge hair. I guess that thing's never changed. They pronounced it jewelry. Now that's good. You just reminded me of something. What's the root word of jewelry? Is it? Emanates from the Old English jewel, meaning a precious object or ornament. I was just hoping your jewelry there wasn't anti-semantic. Didn't want to be have my audience accused of such. Erika, real estate, New York City, the Corcoran Group. Barb Corcoran, Shark Tank. Barb's husband is Larry Ginta, who is the Chief Tech and Advanced Science Officer for E3 Tech, who is the chairman founder, Laurie Cardoza. Well, isn't that an interesting connection? Daisy, are you looking at this? We got some work to do tomorrow. That's great. Hey, thank you. I'm going to track that down. The devil doesn't come dressed in a red cape and pointy Prada shoes. She comes as everything you've ever wished for. I've never wished for Erika. Turned the big 7-0 today. Harley, Dad, would be 100 during the 250th birthday of our year birthday year of our country. My son will turn 50. 1976 was he born. It's going to be a great year. I think yours will be too. Godspeed and stay blessed. High IQ outfit. Ski Florida, it would turn 46. Well, I'll turn 47 this year. So add it to the parade of events. It doesn't end in 0, but it's fun anyway. Yeah, her eyes always scare me. The sight of Erika Kirk literally makes my skin crawl. So fake and gay talking as if we are plebes. Let them eat cake. You mentioned some time ago the pic Charlie Kirk head flopping would be carried to the SUV and haven't expanded on it. Yeah. I haven't. I'm going to. Gosh. So what I was hoping to get is in touch. Well, I don't. I need to. I still got someone I got to get in touch with, and people have tried to put me in touch with the right person. And it's never been the right person. I get the exact right person. I'm patient. I'm not going to rush and screw something up. I'm patient. So thank you for your very generous donation. Did I finish it? Oh yeah. Baron. Personally, I don't think she's very smart. She had a hard time answering any serious questions. Those are not rehearsed answers. She has no answers that make any sense. World salad. She's a Joe. Yeah, I agree. Don't let that hoodie turn your green eyes blue, cobalt blue, or am I going to summon a demon if I try to say that? Lapis lazuli blue? I'm waiting on books to fly off the bookshelf after saying that. I don't know what that means. Sounds dangerous. I don't know what color it is. It's blue. Maybe the interviewer couldn't ask her the question because her eyes were trolling. Yeah, maybe. I still don't know whether she's evil for sure, but I do find her to be so inauthentic and unintelligent. I agree. I think she needs to stay out of the limelight. I'm trying to figure out if Charlie knew about all the weird financial activities. It's becoming more difficult to believe he was completely in the dark. That's where I am getting hung up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm getting hung up wondering, because I look back at little 21-year-old Charlie from that clip I played tonight. I'm like, surely not. Like, he seems so innocent and naive. Like, surely he wouldn't go along with that. But man, women do weird things to men. What's that? Oh gosh, what's that line? It's can't even think of the guy's name right now. I've seen him in concert. Oh gosh. I'm getting old, ladies and gentlemen. 46 years old. I'm already blanking on the names of a guy I've seen in concert. He's like the biggest country act in America. Zach Bryan. He's got a line that grown men say stupid things. Oh gosh. Never mind. I've ruined it. I'll try to figure it. It'll hit me before the show's over and I'll tell you what it is. Strange words come from a man's mouth when his brain's broken or something. Zach Bryan, strange words, man. Oh, there it is. Come on out. Strange words come on out of a grown man's mouth when his mind's broke. That's kind of the way I view Charlie Kirk. She broke his mind. And so he's like, these strange words came out that wouldn't otherwise have been his. Strange things were allowed to take place around him that he otherwise wouldn't have permitted. That's the way I look at it. Like her, dare I say, demonic presence broke his brain. That's the only thing I can come up with. That's it. Because I look at 21-year-old Charlie and talking to Jenny Thomas there tonight, and I'm thinking, that guy wouldn't let all that go on. I'm sorry you guys had to listen to me stumble around like a moron for 4 minutes trying to figure out Zach Bryan's name and then butchering the quote until I Googled it. Hey, Baron, speaking of holding our politicians accountable, Massachusetts citizens voted to have a third-party audit our state house, and the state house has yet to allow the audit to happen. Again, not taking a position here, but you guys also voted to not have gay marriage, and the Supreme Court said, to hell with what you guys want. We're going to have it anyway. So I don't care what you guys vote on up there in Massachusetts. If you don't like it, move. Because it's becoming increasingly obvious. They don't give a damn what you guys say. They don't care. They don't care what you guys have to say. So why would you vote on anything? Sorry, I'm bitter about the state of politics here in these United States. Great opening, some similarities to TPUSA and Erika Kirk's rambling book interviewer. I wanted to stop her and say, answer the question. I demand to be addressed as Grand Plebe. All right, Edge. Grand Plebe Edge. Yes. Be careful flying with Erika. Don't eat or drink anything she offers you. If she hands you a road mic, don't put it on. I'll take my own. Here, put this on. Mm-mm. I wonder, we have some people fall asleep when they're on a plane and they sit back in their chair. I wonder if, and sometimes they'll nod off and they'll start snoring. I really wonder if she's like, what? Come to me, all right. Or if she's just like, like a normal person sleeping. Yeah, sometimes the truth comes out when people are falling asleep. I babble sometimes as I'm falling asleep. I'll wake myself up babbling. Got to be careful doing that, though. Charlie's life is a cautionary tale of what happens when you marry the wrong person. I wish he had met and fell in love with a mousy librarian from the Midwest. I hope all mousy librarians from the Midwest take that as a compliment and nothing more, because this show does not target mousy librarians from the Midwest. All right. So if you're in Springfield, Illinois, mousy librarian, trust me, we are supporting you. This is a positive thing. Charlie and Erika had their first lunch interview in September 2018. Maybe she had a 7-year handler contract, so she was always a businesswoman, not a trad wife. Yeah, 7 years, almost to the day that he met his maker. You're one of my favorites. I hope everyone has a friend like Candace is to Charlie. Always stand up for one another, especially the freedom to speak truth and question everything. Congrats on your success. Thank you. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Not all heroes wear capes. Some demons do too. Doesn't the Prince of Darkness himself wear a cape with that little thing out like this at the top? No, you got the horns, obviously. That's the dead giveaway, but the cape is there too. Like you can see it. He's coming. He's coming. Not cattle, Baron. Oh, yes. Good call. Good call. Not the cattle Baron. Just Baron. Aren't TPUSA board members personally liable for TPUSA? A questionable illegal shenanigans, or has TPUSA found a loophole to protect them from that? EK listed as board chair in the clip you showed. Yeah, I think she is the board chair. So they probably have insurance, I would guess, against directors' liability insurance. But, there are some instances that would not be covered by insurance, obviously, if it's particularly egregious or intentional, for example. But I don't know. I don't know how that would work. You'd have to know Indiana corporate law, maybe, I think is probably where it would come down to. Shout out to all the RNs in the jury and grand jury. Trauma ICU RN here, been here for a while. Not since befuddled by daffodils, though. Where's that from? How did you break your ankle, Crisis King? So we'll take it in order. The befuddled by daffodils. So there was, where Charlie Kirk was neutralized on the UVU courtyard. They paved over that. We were talking about buying a bomb dog. We could not find an affordable bomb dog. I had someone willing to travel from California with an affordable bomb dog, but the travel costs were going to be like $2,500. Couldn't do it. And so we passed on the opportunity. Now it's getting to the point where probably wouldn't still be able to do it. But we noticed they paved over it and then put these giant planters everywhere. And we asked if bomb dogs were befuddled by daffodils. Like, is this a way to keep the bomb dogs from discovering any potential explosive material? How did I break my ankle? I fell off a rope. It's not a fun story. We were doing a workout where you do a farmer's carry, like 70-pound kettlebells in each hand, and you walk 100 feet. So down and back. And then you put it down, and then you run and you climb a rope. And it's, I think, a 15-foot rope. You climb and you touch a little piece of wood at the top, and you come back down, and you pick them back up, and you do it again. You do it time and time again, and as many times as you can in a certain period of time, like 8 or 10 minutes, something like that. So I went up a few times, 5, 6 times. I go up, I hit it. And I noticed my grip is getting really tired from carrying those kettlebells in between and from climbing the rope. And so I fell. And I landed on the bottom of the rope. Sometimes the rope curls at the bottom of the gym floor, and I landed on it, and it rolled my ankle, and it just tore it off. So it was bad. It went the wrong way. So like if it had come in, the tibia wasn't broken, but the foot went out. It was my left foot, so it went out that way. And it broke the tibia, the fibula, and some bone, like this bone, whatever that bone is in the ankle that does this thing in here. It broke that as well. The surgeon was great. Shout out to the surgeon. He did a great job on it. And I feel it. I mean, I feel it in the morning, particularly when I wake up, but I don't have the limitations like I used to. Like if I go run 2 or 3 miles, I'll feel it the next day. Jump rope a lot. Like if I do, say you do 100 double unders, you're not going to feel it. Do a 500 or more, you're going to feel it the next day. Sorry, that was way more than you wanted to know about my ankle, I'm sure. But you asked. We asked. We shouldn't have to feel this way. Right. Money and Power Corrupt. I loved 2021, Charlie. No social and religious slant. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. Don't remember quote source, but sure applies to her. So yeah, that's about the time they switched and became a political operation. I mean, like super foreign policy oriented operation. And they brought this is how you know it was manipulated. They brought the religious component in to manipulate the foreign policy component. Like I do believe Charlie believed the religious component. I'm not saying he was making it up. What I'm saying is I think those around him didn't believe it, but they encouraged it because they were using it as an anchor, a hook to get into people's hearts and draw this religious connection to foreign policy. I think Charlie did believe it for a while. I think those around him were just manipulating him. I don't think they cared at all. And that's the unfortunate reality. That's how I feel. It's become painfully obvious the deep state saw Turning Point as an opportunity to infiltrate young conservatives. Tyler came in and made political connections. McCoy brought the Zionists. Erika sealed the deal. They lost control. He died. Yeah. Is this true? Erika's cape is part of a Ralph Lauren set that cost $5,300. So she had $1,000 shoes and a $5,300 cape. I'm looking it up. Ralph, how do I find this? Ralph Lauren cape. Is that going to show up? It does show up. It's not $5,300 though. Who wears a cape? Oh my gosh. If my wife started to leave the house with a cape, I'd be like, we're not going. Sorry. I don't know where we were going, but we're not going. No capes. That was like at our vows. Do you take this woman? Yes. Do you take this man? Yes. No capes. Father, can we work the capes thing in, please? No capes. $1,000 pumps? Probably not. But capes, no. We're out. Out at capes. That's where I draw the line. If you put on the cape, I'm staying home. I mean, I'm not saying you can't go. I'm just saying I'm not going anywhere with someone in a cape. Now, if you guys have a cape, I'm sure it looks good on you. It's probably a great cape. Might be a hell of a cape. Might be the best cape ever. But I mean, that's you. You do you, boo. Odds that TPUSA asked IRS on 12/3 about the investigation? I think it's pretty high. IRS replied 24 hours later with personal salutation. Scott and Erika Kirk both in the same event on 12/3. All these unrelated. D, no. There you go. D, no. Love your work, Baron. Huge fan from Australia. Well, I'm a huge fan of Helen Kelly in Australia. So it's, we got that in common. I would argue back to Charlie Kirk, the R party is hardly fiscally responsible. The difference is where the money is spent, and R's detest spending money on the people. Here's the difference that I've always found with the Republicans and the Democrats. The Republicans want to borrow and spend. The Democrats want to tax and spend. They both want to spend. Neither one of them are actually trying to balance a budget. So I hear you on young Charlie and no social issues, but I got to admit the concept of regendering children was repulsive, and he did articulate that issue well. I agree. I mean, I'm not saying it was all bad. I'm just saying he came a long way. He was totally different by the end. Someone who used to watch Candace and many others, but you're the one I watch consistently. It's because I can so easily tell you're so real and authentic. Please never change. Much love. I will do my best, Brandon Brunette. I will do my best not to change. Rev Warbabe. Reverend Warbabe? I don't think I'd go to church with a Reverend Warbabe, but that's that. Again, I'm not telling you not to go. Baron, did you know that when you're talking about Erika, you're dangerously close to surpassing the infamous Joe rant? No, I did not. Do I really get that out of control when I talk about Erika? If so, now I feel bad. For all Erika's many faults, I don't want to go full Joe on her. No. That's not what I'm looking to accomplish with Erika. No. At the end of the day, nearly everyone is a hypocrite, whether themselves directly or indirectly. Once any real power is obtained, the hypocrisy rises to the top. Nothing will change because Charlie Kirk died sadly. Look, we've all been hypocrites. I've had this conversation with someone. I don't want to go to church full of hypocrites. Good. That's where they should be. Look, everyone's a hypocrite. Right? Because none of us want to do bad things. None of us run around admitting we do bad things. All of us have done bad things at least once in your life, if probably more. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. That's the Romans 3:23 promise, right? We're all lousy. But it's different when you make it your identity. Like her identity was going around telling people you shouldn't go to work. You should stay home, get a husband, have some kids, raise a family. That's promoting Western civilization. That's saving culture. And if you're going to make something your identity and then change it, it's one thing if you have something you're quiet about. Like say you're like a closet drug addict, right? Like you don't tell people you use heroin. You're not proud of it. You're sneaking around using heroin. That's one thing. Now, if you go out there and you're like the anti-drug guy and you're sneaking around using heroin, or you start out as the anti-drug guy and then you go into the heroin using business, now you're a hypocrite. Now you're a hypocrite. And if someone asks you, oh, weren't you the anti-heroin guy? Like you told everyone how bad heroin was and now you're like all junked out? Well, you guys shouldn't use heroin. I figured out how to keep it under control. You know what I mean? It's just that's the wrong way to look at it. That's you owe society an explanation at that point. You certainly owe your supporters an explanation at that point. I hope that makes sense. I hope I didn't just ramble for no reason. I hope you were able to follow. When you catch up with Wolves in Finance, you'll understand why only 3% of the earnings were reflected as political spending. If that arm is 501c3, it's illegal to spend more than 3% in that category. But that's not the 501c3. TP Action's a 501c4. That's the 990s we were looking at today. And my understanding, I used to advise people on these 501c4s and 501c3s. My understanding on the 501c4 is you have to be very cautious that 50% of your spending is no more than 50% of your spending is political activity. So if you spend $1 million, only $500,000 could be political activity. The other $500,000 has to be like education, generalized education, some kind of nonprofit purpose. So I think no longer dread getting jury pool notices. Does your sister have a name, or will we forever refer to her as your sister? This is for her welcome aboard party, specifically the organic marshmallow cream. There's no such thing as organic marshmallow cream. If there is, it shouldn't be. I'm looking it up just in case. Organic marshmallow root. No. Cream. Organic marshmallow cream. Nope, just all toxic stew of poison. Oh, there's an organic original vanilla marshmallow cream. Ugh. I just can't imagine. Can't imagine. She has a name. I don't know if she wants me to use it. I don't think it would be that hard to find. But yeah, maybe we'll introduce her by name one day. She's not here yet. She's still got 16 days before she shows up. Notice how Charlie Kirk's story of meeting old man Montgomery, don't go to college, join me, is now amazing Mikey's story of meeting Charlie Kirk verbatim. Yeah. Kind of weird, ain't it? Kind of weird. Yeah. Oh, gosh. Here, I'd already forgotten about old Mikey McCoy, and you brought him back up. Now I'm all creeped out again. Brandy, thank you. Great show. I watch all the time. Question, has anyone taken the time to look into the older people in the crowd at UVU? I don't know, maybe something there. Yeah, I think people have. They noticed it was a decidedly older crowd than is normally on the UVU campus. There's no doubt about that. The problem with Charlie is he became a Christian. And because he was brilliant and read and knew the Bible very well, he knew the Word of God, doesn't want us Christians waging war on our fellow man. Problems were around him. I want to say he was always a Christian, wasn't he? Didn't he kind of start that way? Maybe you mean he embraced it even more? Baron, you complain about these sketchy nonprofits, but you embrace the Clinton Foundation. I do? I do? When have I ever embraced the Clinton Foundation? Oh, no. No, I have not. Why would you even say that, Sparky? The Clinton Foundation? No. No, that was an influence peddling operation. Absolutely not me. You're thinking of another person. I can hear now, eyes fluttering. Let them eat cake. All of us pheasants cheer. I like that. Pheasants, not just peasants, pheasants. We've been reduced to winged rats. TPUSA will be throwing us all bread in the streets soon enough. We might slow talk down south, but we're not stupid. No, we're not stupid. We're smart people. How in the heck do these folks running these not-for-profits end up making millions of dollars? It's formally insane. These folks take this kind of money while promoting their helping Brooke. I don't know who Brooke is. Maybe broke. Yeah. That was kind of the point of my rant. I'm disgusted by this. Anyone else that realizes she's making all this money from a nonprofit also should be disgusted by this. Like it's literally disgusting. I don't know if those were really $1,000 pumps, but if they are, that's gross. I don't know if those $2,300 cape, but if so, it's gross. I know she took the G5. That's gross. I'm sorry, it's gross. Where'd she come from that day? Let me look that up. I think she came from Scottsdale, if I'm not mistaken. Give me a moment. I will let you know. I'll tell you exactly how long the flight was, and we'll do a pretty accurate look. Oh, why is it not logged in? Try again. We'll do a pretty accurate look at how much that cost. Why am I not getting my option for? I'll have to look again later. I'm not getting my option for the flight radar is being weird lately. I guess for like $8 a month, well, you can't complain that much. Shawnee's back, baby. But if Adidas made a cape and bean paste, I'd be all over it. You kidding me? A bean paste Adidas hoodie? Now, I'd be the ultimate hypocrite. I'd be like, let's not get carried away about capes, ladies and gentlemen. They're not all bad. Have you seen the bean paste Adidas hoodie? Thank you, Shawnee, for your generosity. It's torturous listening to her. She's a camel word salad, blah, 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 zero substance. It's very difficult to believe Charlie was emotionally and intellectually attracted to somebody like this. I agree. I totally 100% agree. It is hard to believe. Hard to believe. I think they used his corn addiction against him. They knew it was the Achilles heel they needed, and Erika would be the Trojan horse they need. What is a corn addiction? Oh, you got that one past me. Corn? Is that like some kind of... It's obviously a code word. No one gets addicted to corn. That's how pigs get fat. They feed them corn. Stacey Sheridan, 3 companies slits its money, siphoning off massive amounts of commission. 2.8 million donated, kept 2.1 million thievery. I don't know that those numbers are accurate, but they were paying massive commissions on their donations. There's no doubt about that. Absolutely no doubt about that. Baron, support to you and your amazing, courageous career risk. Have always admired lawyers. Sending love to you, your family, and how much you promote your wife. Go Max. I promote her because she's amazing. You should see the way she runs the house. It's flawless. I'm a nonprofit organization for 10 years. It was run by all volunteers, including myself. No one received payment. God bless you, Baron, with 1 R. Except you put 2 R's. Right there, you put 2 R's. Good for you for the 10 years of running it as a volunteer, the way you should be. Truth keeps coming out. Keep up the good work. God bless you and the family. Charlie would have liked you. Oh, I like to believe so. Eyes open, new level of unlock. Jesus is the way, truth, and the life. I'm thankful for the truth. I like to believe he would have liked me, but I never met him. Baron, please put Erika Kirk in the middle seat. Last group to board. Thanks. High IQ planning. Man, we're going to have to take the bag with your cape and your $1,000 pumps and put it in the undercarriage. Oh, yeah, you can't take that on. No, ma'am. That's going down in the hold. Wow, very enlightening and informative. Well, thank you. Did not realize the corruption in the nonprofits. Love your show. Keep up the work. It's disgusting, sir. Ma'am. I just read your... It's ma'am. I just read your name, Monique. Sorry. Still behind on the live, so apologies have been mentioned. Did you see Diligent Denizens' ex-post of a Vance message on his own picture to someone? Had the same dash after the name, like Erika IRS letter. I did, but I don't think it's... actually texted back and forth with Diligent about that. I don't think it's his handwriting. I told him that. I mean, like, I'm not telling him what to believe, but I don't think that. I don't know. I don't think it was a palm gun, if that's what you're asking. Whether he was involved in some lord, I don't know. In some way, I don't know. But yeah, I'm pretty confident it wasn't palm gun. Well, I love you, Mad Dior Kev. Very kind. Predators, you need to change the name of your sports ball team. Yeah, the Sports Pucks. It's scary, isn't it? I almost made a joke that I would have regretted. I'm glad I didn't. It was about TPUSA employees in the name of our hockey team. Yeah, I would have regretted that one. Baron, I'll be attending Mass on Sunday at St. Dominic. Say hey to Padre Driscoll. I'll be sure to say hello for you. Oh, thank you. Thank you for covering Dale Sr. Was wondering if you were a NASCAR fan. Go Max and stay gold. Not as big a fan as I am of other motorsports, but I can respect it. I can respect it. I went a few years where my daughter liked it for a few years, and I watched them with her. Okay, it's not weird. Is it weird that Superfeed's business entity report listed as a foreign for-profit corporation? No, that's not weird. Foreign just means another state. So what that means is they're doing business in Arizona, but they're, founded in Delaware or whatever. That's all that means. That's not a I mean, it might mean that they're from a foreign country, but I don't think so. I think it's just another state. There's a pic of Aquino on Oprah when much younger, 20s maybe, and if you zoom in and crop off the Satan hair, the Satan hair? You said it, so can't you just crop off the Satan hair? And find a pic of JD at that age. It's like looking at twins. All right, I got to go for the Satan hair pic. Sorry. Michael Aquino on Oprah? Michael Aquino, Oprah. Images. Oh my gosh, that is Satan hair. Okay, so I guess this is the picture you're talking about. We'll just watch it. Oh, no, that's not Oprah. Oh my gosh. So this that's him, isn't it? You're saying this looks like our vice president? I mean, I'm cropping his hand. I mean, maybe. Gosh. I don't know, man. I just refuse to believe our vice president is the son of a Satanist. Like someone who ran a Satanist temple and had these eyebrows that did this thing. But I mean, I would say stranger things have happened, but I don't know that anything stranger than that's ever happened. Oh, yeah, your country's run by the son of a Satanist, Temple of Satar. Thank you, Dolores. I almost said the Seinfeld joke, but there are people that probably didn't see the Seinfeld episode, wouldn't get it, and then think I'm being crude. So I'm not gonna say it, but I'm sure you've heard it. You're mad at me? You're a little mad at you right now? Really? Not really, but kind of. I'd shared the Superfeed info with you on X several days ago. I have a lot more past info on Tyler Boyer if you share the credit. Danny, if you think I see anything people share with me on X, you're out of your mind. I get thousands of notifications a day. I don't even check them. I promise you, I give as much credit as I can to everybody. I do not steal credit. I freely give credit to anyone who asks. Anybody sends me something and I see it and I use it, I'm going to give you credit. And if I don't know if you want credit, I might say, hey, one of our emailers sent this and I don't know if they want credit, or someone sent this to me on whatever. But I'm never going to act like I came up with something. In fact, I think I credited Daisy May for coming up with the Superfeed thing. I think I did. Not coming up with it, but helping put the research to it. So I appreciate that you sent that to me, but X is a terrible way to reach me. I mean, a terrible way. I can't, I don't have any way in X to segregate notifications into categories. So like people who are sending me messages versus people who are just hearting a post or something like that. But I mean, I'll get 20,000 somethings on I can't sift through that. So I don't even look. I never open my notifications. Sometimes I'll scroll a little bit on a post, but not even that usually. No. This is bad theology. We're not going to let it pass. I understand the sentiment, and I agree with the sentiment, but it's bad theology, and I want to address it. Just like there are demons here on earth, there are also angels. Charlie was an angel in my alleged opinion. Charlie was an angel. He was a human. Humans are actually better than angels. But I mean, better meaning in the order of creation. Demons are not people either. People sometimes have demons in them, so we might refer to them as a demon or be under the influence of demons. So we say that guy's a demon. But the angel, like Charlie was a Christian. Charlie was a Christian. When he dies, he doesn't become an angel. He becomes, a glorified being. That's the promise. So I don't want to confuse that. And it's important to me because sometimes I hear people say that, like, oh, he became an angel last week. And I'm like, no, he didn't. He became a human in heaven or a human on the way, depending on what you think. Is there a reason you don't wear orange? Two reasons. I'll tell you in just a second. As an FSU fan, I can understand. Great show, Christ is King. So number one, I don't own an orange hoodie. No, I don't own an orange hoodie. Because I don't know that they make one in this line. If they do, I haven't seen it. Number two, do you see my hair and the beard's a little whiter these days, but this hair and beard comment don't do well with orange. I'm glad I'm not like a big Tennessee or Miami fan or something. It would be rough. It would be rough. The red's hard enough to pull off with this get up. You kidding me? I wish I had like a team that was green. Because I like green. I like that color a lot. No, it's not KU Jayhawk blue. Come on. We've talked about this, people. We've talked about this. God rules us. Thank you. Very generous. Baron, longtime listener, first super chat for one of our favorite podcasts on YouTube. I'm a physician in Louisiana. Have a little tip for that asthmatic cough. Take a puff of your albuterol 30 minutes prior to showtime. Jesus, priest and king loves you. He does. I have my albuterol right here with me. I almost never use it. It stays in my little man bag. So I take a long-acting beta agonist, God rules us, and the problem is it's like a 12-hour dose, and I take it when I get up in the morning, and then I don't take it again until I go to bed. So I'm at the end of the cycle here when the show starts. I probably should take that before I come on, because that's got a mix of, what's that called? It's one of them. I've taken every asthma medicine that's ever been. I think I've taken them all. But thank you for that, God rules us. And appreciate you out there serving the community. Thank you. So what you're saying is you cannot confirm or deny that Candace. I'm not going to blink. You're not going to catch me blinking. You're not going to get it. Just say, Julie. I sent you an email to change earlier today titled TPUSA TVA action. Thank you. Did I hear the recording of the woman fired at you? Yes, at TPUSA. Toilet paper. That's funny. See, you guys have a good sense of humor. I did hear it. Was there anything else? But I'm answering the question that's asked, just like a good witness would. As a mother of young kids, Erica's not taking care of kids with those claws. I accidentally scratched my kids with wedding rings. Can't imagine those long nails and wiping bums. That's a good point. I hadn't considered that. My wife never had the fake long nails, and I'm thankful for that, to be honest with you. I don't know if she ever had fake nails. If she did, they weren't long. Yeah, I don't think she ever did. Again, no offense to you if you like the fake long nails. That's your business. I just, I don't want to get scratched. Well, maybe a little. I can't. I had to leave. You made me cry. My hubby was the biggest Canadian NASCAR fan of Dale Earnhardt, equal the Man in Black, the Intimidator. He went to 2 races every year. I still have die-cast models packed in a box. I did not mean to make you cry over that, Light Giver. I don't think they race in Canada, do they? Well, you must have gone to Watkins Glen or somewhere in New York. Oh, don't they? They race in New Hampshire too, don't they? I'm sorry to hear that. It sounds like he passed, and I'm sorry if that's true. I'm sorry to hear that. Thank you for the very generous donation. Looks like Rob McCoy's doing in Murfreesboro in April, field trip. I'm pretty close to the borough. We're big in Murfreesboro, huge in Murfreesboro. I could be there in 45 minutes. I didn't know he was doing that. You might have to take a road trip. I'd like to see old Sailor Rob in person. Toot, toot. Rob, we'll be the ones in the back doing this. Oh, my gosh. Between you, Candace, Coach, Trigger, etc., all who've been looking into the case, are any of you planning to look into that crazy woman donor who sent Charlie that threatening text? I hope so. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was doing tonight. What time did you send that? 8:25? Wasn't I going through that right at that time? I think I was. Oh my gosh, we're already over 3 hours. I got to speed up. Sorry. Hey, how do you follow Elizabeth Holmes on Twitter, since her followers need to be approved and she's been in prison before you had an X account? I've got a great, I like Elizabeth Holmes. I know that's scandalous and you're not supposed to, but I do. And I don't know. She just approved it. And she's in prison. She posts all the time. I can show you, since you can't see it, obviously. Are her posts not public? I thought they were. Well, maybe if actually she probably doesn't want me to show it. Obviously, if she has to approve it, she doesn't want me to show it. I like Elizabeth Holmes, and I'm not going to apologize for that either. I think she got railroaded. I think yeah, I don't know why she approved me. She did. But But I mean, she approved 66,000 other people. Maybe you just got to ask. But yeah, she's very active on Twitter. I mean, she was on there today talking about how apparently she's in a very low security prison because she was talking about the smelly lotion and taking hot showers and dancing in the rain and all that. Look, I think what happened to Elizabeth Holmes was a national tragedy. I don't think she's the scam artist, and I don't even know that she knows. But I think she got railroaded. And I think she perhaps naively, I don't know that she was in on it, but I think there was a wide military operation to how to do a show on this. I think there was a large military operation to use Elizabeth Holmes' product, and when they couldn't get it approved or it started breaking down, they used her as the scapegoat, threw her under the bus, and all moved on. I don't think that was her. I think it was the people around her. And I think they took advantage of a potentially naive younger girl who was like 19, 20 years old when she fell into all this group of secretaries of state, generals in the military. It was a military operation. And I feel terrible for her. She's going to spend a long time in prison because of it. She had a kid right before she went. I'll allow Air Force Blue. I'm not in the Air Force, obviously. Gosh, I am so late. I keep telling myself I won't go more than 3 hours because, I got family. It's 9:30. They're very generous by allowing me to do this. And I get to see them during the day. So it's not like I haven't seen them all day. I knew something was wrong when I said nonprofit owners in HGTV, International House Hunters. What a scam. Thanks for doing what you do. Oh, yeah. With that, where they're like, I'm a elementary school teacher and he makes t-shirt screen printing on the side and our budget is like 7.9 million. I've seen those. Thank you, Orrin Hornbaker. Thank you, Orrin Hornbaker. I don't know if you meant to do that twice, but I do appreciate it. Your next one's on me, boss. Orrin, are you just getting out of control? Thank you. I'm very hesitant to bring this up. Brainwashing is deep. I find it impossible to look into the Operation Mocking Pastor without a deep dive into Kim Clement. Erika was a prophecy fulfilled, according to the NAR. I don't know who Kim Clement is. Explain Kim Clement. A prophet, but to simply call him a prophet is not enough. Part of the journey to understanding Kim Clement is a lesson in understanding that dude was involved with her? Lance Wallnow and Ken Clement are televangelists who claim to be prophets? Run. To follow up my NRB comment, I saw Charlie Kirk speak at NRB in Nashville 2022. I skipped a work event to see him. A moment I'll have forever. Oh, I'm glad you got to share that. If you haven't already, can you ask Candace to verify that Charlie Kirk and Erika Francevay have children together? This seems to be such a hush-hush topic without any solid proof of their existence. It's strange. I've asked her. Asked her point blank the very first time I met her in person. So it was on my mind. It was definitely on my mind. Very kind of you, Paul Pods Sand Marine Ornament. You're very entertaining. Thank you for helping us understand this mess. I sent you some source material on demons. Familiar with Dr. Mike Heiser? I am not. Wrote a book on demons. I'll check it out. Going to OCI next month. I'm Orthodox. Well, you'll have a good time. A lot of it will be review for you because the views of the Orthodox and the Catholics are almost identical. Very few differences. So welcome across the Tiber. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to, where I can, answer them. Love your show. I went back to the Catholic Church because of you. Candace, too. Proud to be a part of Baron's high IQ outfit. Thank you to Mrs. Coleman, Christ is King. Yeah, none of this is possible without Mrs. Coleman. Period. End of story. She is so supportive of this. I actually had this conversation with her a day or two ago. I had this not a breakdown, but I had this like emotional moment where I was like, oh my gosh, my whole life has been building up to this moment. And I went blow by blow, literally back to when I was in college. about the first job I took out of college, how that led me to law school, how law school led me back to Alabama to be closer to her family, to work at a little small trial lawyer firm, how that led me to, I mean, just boom, 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 every step of the way. And I was like, every single piece of this experience was necessary to start this show. Without any one of those pieces, it wouldn't have happened. There was a lot of heartache in there. Like losing a massive contract that was feeding my family because the guy who was in charge of the nonprofit, frankly, who was helping me, got fired for misusing some of the nonprofit money. I was not involved with that, obviously, but that's just reality. It's what happened. It's in the news. Like every step of the way and like thinking, oh my gosh, we're going to be broke. Well, losing that contract encouraged me to go into radio full time. Going into radio full time gave me the broadcasting background to be confident enough and trained enough to know how to work a microphone, to know how to handle my voice, to know how to carry on a conversation behind a microphone. But then it wasn't good enough because had I stayed in radio, I would have stayed in radio because I know a lot of very good broadcasters who never made the leap over to this side, to the podcasting side. I had to leave radio, and I didn't necessarily want to at the time, but I had to leave radio. And then I went to work for a guy who allowed me to work from home. Well, being allowed to work from home allowed me to relocate. Being allowed to relocate allowed me to start this other job, which gave me both the resources and time to start going back into podcasting on the side. It allowed me to meet a friend of mine who encouraged me to go into podcasting, helped me pick out some equipment because he was starting a podcast. And he was like, hey, here's what I'm buying. Here's what you should buy. Blah, blah, blah. And then we started doing a little show together on Sunday evenings to get him some reps for his podcast. I wanted him to learn how to be a better broadcaster. All of it came together. And I looked at my wife and I said, do you realize at any moment you could have said enough? Enough. No more job changes. No more moves. Stick it out. We have a family. We have 8 kids. Are you out of your mind? 4 kids and then 5 kids and then 6 kids and then 7 kids and 8 kids. But every step of the way, she was the single most supportive person in my life. Hey, I want to walk away from a good job that pays really well, and I want to go out on my own. Why? I don't know. It just feels right. We might go broke. We've got a few dollars in savings. We'll probably burn through that in about 6 months. If we don't make it, we'll be bankrupt. You know what her answer was? I believe in you. Let's do it. Every time. Every step of the way, her answer was, I believe in you. Let's do it. And so when I had the conversation with her a few months ago, hey, I'm thinking of leaving my job, which was a very good job. And I liked it a lot. And it paid well. And it was a prestigious job. Like it was a job that you'd be proud to tell people you worked this job. And I say, I'm going to walk away from it at the age of 46 and just take a chance on broadcasting again. And she's like, I believe in you. Let's do it. Like Mrs. Coleman has none of the experience that I had to have and meet the people I had to meet in order to be in front of you tonight. Every step of the way, she could have said, I don't think this is a good idea. Let's not do that. That's a little too risky for me. But every step of the way, she was like, I believe in you. Let's do it. And I'm so thankful. Like it's unbelievable. And she's put up with so much. She put up with so much. And we lived very lean for a long time as I was accumulating this experience that I didn't even know I needed at the time. Like I didn't know why I was collecting all these experiences at the time. I had no idea when I would leave one job and go to another, how that would play into the grand plan. And if you'd have told me where it was headed, I would have never believed you. So yeah, it's Mrs. Coleman. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Oh man, I'm way behind after that. Sorry, guys. I'm starting a new nonprofit, Hoodies for Life. Donate now. Yes. Len Maria won. Start donating today. Why would he refuse a high-profile attorney for court-appointed? I don't know. You'd have to ask him, and I don't think you can. Though I think you can reach out to him. I know people who have. He just doesn't respond. Or he responds and says, I'm not going to talk to you. Since YouTube censors, would you be willing to do a show on Rumble only? Need more information on CK Hands. Love that you just referenced Zach Bryan. I'm a big Zach Bryan fan. I'm embarrassed I couldn't think of his name. I love Zach Bryan's music. I've thought about that, or just putting it behind the paywall. YouTube's a little more friendly behind the paywall because I don't want to. But I've thought about that. I've thought about maybe just doing like a show on X. I have the ability to stream to X Live. I can do that and just tell everyone to go over there if you want to watch that. So I've thought about it to do a better deep dive into those actual images. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Brave Report broke the story of Laurie Cardoza Moore and Diligent Denizen ripped it. Not cool to give the wrong person credit. Oh, I didn't know that. Hold on. I've got it pulled up. Oh, but now hold on. I got to show this because I don't know that that's fair. Because I still have his X post pulled up here. So this is the post I was reading from. And you'll notice right here, he says, credit Brave Report, follow them. So I mean, I don't know how much. Now, granted, it was a day behind. No, that was James Lee on the 22nd. His was on the 23rd. And then he said, follow them. Now, what time was this? Okay, so 7 hours later. And then he said, thanks. Sorry I didn't tag you sooner. I posted, went to sleep. Sent to Candace and gave you credit as well. Great work. Guys, see, this is the thing with the credit thing on all this stuff. Like, we're doing our best out here. Now, I don't think anyone that I follow intentionally tries to steal from people and pawn it off as their own research. I don't think so. So I appreciate your concern. I mean, it's part of being part of this community is you gotta give other people credit when they help you. Loved how you pronounced Louboutin. Praying to hear it again. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know how to pronounce it, obviously. Brave reporters who discovered the Laurie Cardoza Moore quote and posted those texts. Diligent Denizen gave her credit. Okay, yeah, thank you. We got that settled. Notice Scott Bessent claimed the next 990 would be filed by the end of May 2026. How can he make a claim about a future event for an entity he has no control over, or does the current admin have control? No, I think he's just saying that's when it's going to be due, assuming you guys file your extension or whatever. I think that's all it was. I don't think he was trying to get too involved. Okay, so this is a good question. You have to remember Erika Kirk was in pageants her whole life. She wasn't, though. I think she only did like a year or two before winning Miss Arizona USA, which is even weirder because typically to win a pageant like that, you got to be there forever. So, I am trying to hurry, guys. I apologize. First time member, be you, meaning wear whatever color hoodie you want. It's your choice. Can't please everyone. Keep your autonomy and individuality. Don't let others dictate what you wear other than what you're like. Yeah, I agree with you. I was just playing around with the poll. I was going to go with whatever was highest. I was surprised at how low light gray did. I don't know orange. That one that was not going to happen, but I couldn't imagine that was going to win. Charlie Kirk, Faustian bargain. I've wondered that. Oh my gosh, I've wondered that. You had a dream of me last night? You invited me to be on your podcast, but I woke up before the interview started. I'm just a normie in Central Illinois with nothing to contribute. Well, Janita, I would hope you would come on if invited. But since you have nothing to contribute, I won't. You know what happened to me one night? I fell asleep with listening to a podcast. I think it was Dave Smith and somebody. Can't remember who he was talking to. But I fell asleep listening to it, and I dreamed that I was on the podcast from my office in here. And I kept trying to speak when they would raise something like, "Ooh, I want to weigh in on this." So I'd start talking, and they wouldn't listen to me. And I was like, it kept hitting my button like, is my mic on mute? Like I kept hitting the button over and over. And I was like, what the hell why are they not listening? And then I woke up, and I felt really foolish. I felt really dumb. Retired military here regarding Treasury letter, a / out of the former title and handwriting. First name is common in military to personalize, make less formal. Not used in formal letters, so seems inappropriate for this topic. I've only seen it in memos. I've never seen it in an actual letter. But that's not to say it doesn't happen. Prior super chat, not correct. Barb Corcoran, not married to Laurie Guinea. Laurie Francevay is or was Barbara's hubby. Is an ex-FBI agent and did something in the Navy. Erika Kirk working there is more interesting now. Wait a minute. All right, now I got to take a picture of this one. Daisy, are you listening? We got more info. Barb Corcoran, not married to Larry Guinea. Laurie Francevay is or was Barbara's hubby. Oh, Barbara's hubby. Okay, I'm sorry. You missed a period there. Laurie is or was. So you're saying Laurie Francevay used to be married to Larry Guinea. Is that what you're saying? I didn't know that. Barbara's hubby is an ex-FBI agent and did something in the Navy. That's what you're saying. Erika working more interesting now. Yeah, that is interesting. That is interesting. Marshmallow Mellow equals your sister? No, I'm not going to refer to her as a marshmallow. She's not fat. She just eats like it. That's funny. That's funny. No. We're not doing audits. This is going to be an effort, Dankster. This is going to be an effort. But Danks does good auditing, or he does good deep dives. So if you're not following Danks on YouTube, go for it. Yes, you have to crop and do side by side with JD in 20s. That picture? I'm sorry. I'll look JD in his 20s. I'm not pulling that frightening picture back up. JD Vance in his 20s. See this? I'm trying to get off quickly, and you're making me look up JD Vance in his 20s. All right. You might be onto something. At first, I thought you were out of your mind. And then I saw that picture. Wait a minute. Why is he wearing a dress? Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that does look like him. God, that's a new rabbit hole to run down. Charlie admittedly had a corn with a pee addiction. Oh, I didn't know that. I had not heard that. Now that's possible. If he was looking up the weird corn, that's how they get you. You got to if you're gonna do the corn thing, I don't recommend it. Nobody should do it. But if you are, keep it vanilla. But keep it missionary. You get too weird, then all of a sudden you're a target. One of these interviewers needs to ask Cruella DeVille here if she's ever going to answer the dadgum question or if she's just going to keep Oregon trailing it. Would you answer the question, please, ma'am? Back to the question. I don't know if they could get away with it. New viewer, as of today, have been feeling something was way off about Erika. Started searching videos tonight, and you popped up. Glad to know I'm not the only one who feels something's just not right. No, welcome to the crowd. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit notifications. Join us on the lives. We cover a lot here. You are in friendly territory. Hey, Baron, thanks for the great channel to follow. Are you looking into the Butler incident at all? Do you believe in shifting of timelines? Best wishes. I don't believe in shifting of timelines. I have looked deeply into the Butler incident. I have an interesting theory about it, and I've not heard it much in the mainstream. I've come across it a couple of times, but never seen anyone really give it much play. I believe there were multiple shooters for one, and that's all I'm going to say for right now. Maybe I'll do a show on that. Ooh, gosh, I think that could put me in jeopardy. I'll have to think about that one. Baron, you have the patience of a saint. Oh, thank you. I know people who disagree. I don't know why your followers are so nitpicky about the tiniest things. So much time spent on apologies for things that don't matter. Love the show. Appreciate all the work you do from New Jersey. Well, here's the thing, Rosario. I aim to please. And when I feel like people aren't pleased with what I'm doing, I feel bad. Like I want them to be pleased. Erika Kirk said it's not about balance, but 300 out of 365 days is imbalanced. And if we believe the narrative, she's stepping into a role that just ended her husband. So bad, she said it twice, ladies and gentlemen, with no fear or hesitations. Yes, I understand that. Quit picking on her airplane. Maybe Erika thinks that she's being frugal because the Gulfstream is far cheaper than 2 military Egyptian planes following her around, providing security. I don't know much about that. Hey, related to asthma, I started Dupixent injection a year ago, and my asthma is well controlled now. Between that, Symbicort, and Singular. Symbicort. Is Symbicort what I take? I think that's what I take. Let me look at it real fast. Symbicort. Yeah, that's what I take. Twice a day. I don't want to take an injection if I can avoid it. I don't like injections. Not that I'm not scared of needles, but I just the idea that I would be dependent on something I have to inject strikes. If I can avoid that, I don't want to go there. Erika is a glitter decoy. You see, the Israel invasion of Palestine seems to be now taking shape in the form of ICE IDF. That's the only way we'll stop focusing on Epstein and Israel. I don't know what that means. Are you saying all the ICE stuff is a distraction from the real story? Maybe. Mary, maybe. Baron, I think you mentioned one time Larry Ginta being Erika's stepdad. But go be with your family. God bless them. I feel bad for sending so many messages. Don't feel bad for sending messages. I'm not answering this one. And I don't know if I'm wiggling or not. But I'm not blinking. I know that. I'm not blinking. Guys, I appreciate it. You guys have been more than patient. 3 hours and 23 minutes of this is a lot of Baron, if we're being honest. A whole lot of Baron. So I appreciate you being here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click notifications on your way out. It does help the program quite a bit, and it costs you nothing. It costs you absolutely nothing. And I'll be back probably tomorrow, but if not, I'll be back Wednesday, one or the other. I don't know if I'll be back tomorrow or Wednesday, but I will be back one of them. I'm only doing one of those 2 days, and then I'll be back Thursday as well. Friday, I have plans, I think. Is it Friday I have plans? Today is Monday, 27, 28, 29, 30. Yeah, I have plans Friday. Going to a fundraiser for a kids group at the church, so I am not going to be available Friday night. So I will do either tomorrow or Wednesday, and then I'll do Thursday, and then I will be back with you guys Sunday night. Appreciate your time. Thank you. This is an amazing community. This community is so wonderful. I appreciate you guys so incredibly much. Your tips, the conversation, all the fun that's had in the chat. It's an absolute blast being a part of it. And I'm thankful you guys let me be a part of it. So thank you. Thank you so much. And don't forget, Jesus loves you.